Well, April Fool's Day. You thought we were on the air, but we weren't.
And we are
Nice,
now.
nice tie-in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
little
that's what we
technical problem on April Fool's Day, and but Louis Linder, our robust, intellectual, and experienced technologist, got us on the air, and it is a delight because after braving the thunderstorms and the lightning and the rain and the floods and 4 inches of snow,
And the hail,
we're
both
all
ways.
here. Yeah, and all includes Terry Chamberlain. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning.
And I'm going to introduce Tyrus first. Good morning to you, Tyrus. You came the furthest.
Good morning.
Well, that's not true. Dave came the furthest
did come
because he
the
came
further-
from Italy.
The furtherest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or the
All-
farthest.
all the way from Italy.
All the way,
I
yeah.
got spaghetti and meatballs hanging out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flat.
Good to
Yep.
see you. Have a good time. Did you
It
in Italy?
was wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
How was
Highly
the
recommend-
weather?
Great, sunny. We had rain one day last Thursday.
Well, that's
but,
Europe.
That is Europe, but it was just gorgeous weather. So yeah, great time.
You were there for how many days?
8 days.
8
I guess.
days.
Yeah, a week and a half, something like that.
And who all went?
My wife and I.
The
Yep.
two of you?
Yep.
On your own? She planned everything?
She is a great planner. If it weren't for me, I'd still be wandering in circles in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's why you were a little late. 'Cause
Yeah.
you were wandering around in the
Momentarily
waiting
delayed.
for-
My flight was delayed. Is that?
yeah. Along with many other flights.
I'm gonna try using that
Did you have
excuse.
any trouble
No.
getting in line or all that?
Here's the interesting thing. TSA, and again, kudos because the TSA agents everywhere were so friendly. Chicago, 5 minutes. I mean,
You're kidding.
everywhere we went, not really checking bags. I mean, it was just now we did fly to Munich, and it was more passport and border control there. We were in line forever in Munich, just checking our passports and
It had
identity.
nothing to
and-
do with
no,
TSA
no.
agents.
And then we just kind of barely made our connecting flight to Rome, and, but then.
From München?
Yeah, München to Rome. Yes, we were supposed to fly to Iceland, but the morning we left, literally 2 hours before, they said, "Yeah, the flight's been canceled."
Oh.
So what they did is they bumped us. So we scrambled quick and got the last 2 flights. They bumped us to United, flying to Munich. And as part of that, we got bumped up to business class and the Premier Lounge. So that was a
Holy
5-hour vacation
boy.
at O'Hare
Yeah.
in the Premier Lounge, eating all the food I could possibly eat. It was wonderful. So able to watch some of the basketball games that were unfolding, and
You were able to do that?
yeah, it was. I'm like, wow. And then we get on a plane, and in the front of the plane with my own little bed that reclines. Of course, didn't fit me too well, but still, get your own.
Still
movie, a
was
little
better than
time.
what you were.
Oh, my goodness.
How do you feel? What motivated the upgrade?
I think that was what they had available, and they had to get us on a flight quick because there was no flight.
They
to
being
Iceland.
United?
Yeah, we were flying originally Icelandic Air from Chicago to Iceland, but so they in turn, I don't know how they do it, but either way, we
They
got on.
have a certain agreement sometimes.
They've got
with-
agreements,
yeah.
and evidently, well, it's the pulses. You have to get them on, right? No, that's not how that works. If it were that case, I'd be flying in the cargo hold. So, but no. Anyway, just
How
real
long a
quick
flight was it from O'Hare to?
to Munich?
Munich.
7.5 hours, I
Yeah,
think.
okay.
And then we barely got on from Munich to Rome. That was 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. And then once we landed there, it was great. We stayed in Airbnbs in both Rome
Oh,
and
you
Florence.
did?
Yeah, and
Really?
they were right in the middle of the downtown, really nice
Wow.
apartments, although you had to climb like 5 stories. And then just walking everywhere, the food's great. Although a week ago Sunday, it was also the day of the Rome Marathon. So we learned a new Italian word. Evidently it's casino, which means a mess.
It
So,
means what?
A mess.
Oh,
So
okay.
they kept saying, it is a casino. I'm like, okay, we're going to go gamble? No, that's not what that meant. It was a mess. So we barely got taxis. We ended up finding one, and it stalled. So my wife has a picture of me and 2 of the Italia Polizia trying to push a taxi cab in front of the Coliseum.
That is funny.
And it disappeared, and okay, now what do we do? So we just started walking, and a lady that was our tour, she's somebody my cousin knew, so the 3 of us walked, and finally she called her husband to come pick us up. He lives outside Rome, and I climbed into a little Fiat 500, if you know how those
Oh,
are.
my goodness, yeah.
My goodness.
And it was fun, but we did that, and then we took trains to Florence. The high-speed trains are.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, how fast would you say they ran?
I looked at it. 197 miles an hour is what it says. Now, whether we were doing that or not, I don't know, but it seemed to be very, very quick. Florence was wonderful. We got the food. We did a cooking class. We went to Tuscany, the vineyards, and the wine tour. Just gorgeous, wonderful people, friendly people. And we thought we were meeting exotic, we were people on the crew. One was from Buenos Aires, another one from Italy. And where are you from? Oh, Des Moines, Iowa. So, okay. So
Well, we're going to talk about that
Yeah.
and more about your wonderful trip to Italy.
Yeah.
But let's bring you up to date on, well, start with the weather because it's on everybody's camera and phone and whole bit. So I will tell you that the weather is brought to you by, boy, you're talking about a timely sponsor, Heinz Roofing. And if you have a problem with your roof, you'll know
yes.
they have time for you. Oh, no, that's another sponsor.
That's a different sponsor, yeah.
And certainly Doug Hines of Heinz Roofing will have time for you. And you can receive a no-obligation inspection of your roof by simply calling Heinz Roofing at 309-672-0910. Quality work by quality people. I don't know if we could call our weather quality. We'll say it's wet. Showers and thunderstorms today with winds gusting to 26 miles per hour. The high only 51 after we had some temperatures around 80 degrees this week. Tonight, more showers and thunder boomers. It'll get warmer overnight. Temperatures rising to around 53. Isn't that interesting? Tomorrow, more showers and thunderstorms with winds increasing to 36 miles per hour as the mercury on the thermometer reaches 74 tomorrow. Friday, partly sunny, then showers, and a high of 77. Saturday, cloudy, showers, and a high of 60. And right now, the temperature standing at 40 degrees. Now let's get into the news brought to you by Matt Wall, CPA and tax specialist. He's with Gordon Stockman Wall. It's tax time. It's the month of April, and the deadline April 15th. As you know, if you need help working on your tax return, Matt's available, and you can reach Matt Wall today at 309-692-4030. Now with our lead story, here's Terry.
Well, I just have to say this before I forget. I mean, you know how it is. If you don't say it when
You
it's
got
gone.
that right.
Did anybody hear the thunder at 1:15 this morning?
Yes.
Oh, I know. I was just drifting off to sleep again. Up through the night with the cats, and I didn't see the lightning apparently. And then, and that whole house shook. And man, when the cats came running with the big tail and the bushy tail, it was.
Yeah, it was something. Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening. With
Well,
apologies to the band.
1:15. What'd you do? Look at the clock.
I
right
did.
away
I happened to
see
look
if you
and see
were
what
still
time it was.
alive and whether
Well,
you
it
still
woke me
had
up, yeah, it
power.
was very
Yes, it was unbelievable.
I didn't hear it, and again, I guess maybe a little evidence of my age. When I left the house, opened the door to go into the garage to raise the door up, the door was already up.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know whether I forgot, which is entirely possible, or as you know, sometimes airplane frequencies, etc., and spooky things, and maybe the garage door rate. But here's the thing: I've been having trouble with my car, and it wouldn't start. And I thought, oh my golly!
no.
And I'm scheduled to see a guy to check it out today. But I thought, how am I going to get there to check it out
Right.
today? But I kept fiddling around, got the fob out, blessed it, and said some other things about it, not printable or broadcastable, and it started. So, however, when I got here, I tried to shut it off. It wouldn't shut off.
Oh.
Can you imagine that?
So it's still running out there? Is that
Any rate, I finally got it to turn off. But then when I took my briefcase out, so whoever, ransacked my car a month ago, if you're listening, have at it because I couldn't lock it. When I hit the button to lock it, it would not lock. So
Wow.
something
Something.
spooky's happened, yeah.
up here, so it's still there.
But the big news is what you have, Terry.
Yes. Going on to the news.
And Terry.
President Donald Trump
And
will
Dave.
Thank you.
President Donald Trump will address the nation tonight 8 o'clock p.m. Peoria time, with an update on the war with Iran. Trump is seeking an end to the war, but Iran has rejected the latest peace proposal. So, the bombing continues by United States and Israeli military forces. With growing speculation, troops may be used to take control of Karj Island, located about 20 miles off the coast of Iran. The island is the primary terminal for Iran, in handling close to 95% of its crude oil exports.
Well, it's a big day today in the Supreme Court. Justices will consider whether babies born in the United States to illegal immigrants automatically become U.S. citizens. President Trump last year issued an executive order declaring an end to birthright citizenship. That order is being challenged by the American Civil Liberties Union on behalf of a Honduran citizen apparently handpicked by the ACLU. Last year, there were 255,000 babies born to women who had no legal status. President Trump is planning to attend the hearing, and we'll talk about the case at 7:30 this morning with Peoria attorney Kevin Sullivan.
Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled 8-1 against Colorado's ban on conversion therapy for gay minors. The court found the Colorado law violated the First Amendment free speech rights of a Christian counselor who said the Colorado law interfered with her ability to treat individuals with same-sex attractions or gender identity confusion who prioritize their faith above their feelings.
We'll also discuss the latest effort to halt construction of the ballroom at the White House. Federal Judge Richard Leon, who was appointed by George W. Bush, ordered a halt to the work. Leon says the president must seek approval from Congress. Trump's attorneys say they'll appeal the decision.
Democrat federal judge Randy Moss has ruled President Trump does not have the authority to halt funding to the liberal news organizations NPR and PBS. The judge called Trump's executive order based on perceived political viewpoints. Moss, appointed by President Obama, has a perceived political bias in his court decisions. White House attorneys say they'll appeal the ruling as the liberal lawfare continues against Donald Trump.
Our final court case is prosecution of famed golfer Tiger Woods, who's been charged with driving under the influence after he rolled his SUV following a collision with a truck. Last Friday, March 27th, arresting officers said the 50-year-old Woods had some pain pills in his pocket, was sweating, lethargic, and had bloodshot eyes. Woods failed to properly perform field sobriety exercises.
Subsequent toxicology tests revealed he had 5 substances in his system, including 2 painkillers, hydrocodone and hydromorphone. The others were Xanax, Ambien, and marijuana. Oh, what a cocktail.
Yeah, I was saying he had, and you know, that's not being widely reported. They're only talking about the
hydrocodone.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not talking about the total of 5 substances, so he's got a drug problem, no question.
Tiger has pleaded not guilty and is asking for a trial by jury, said attorney Douglas Duncan, who got a 2017 DUI charge against Woods reduced to reckless driving. We'll get a medical explanation of those drugs from Dr. Gene Sidler at 7:15 this morning.
It was a big day on Wall Street yesterday as the Dow Jones average soared more than 1,000 points, closing at 46,341. The Nasdaq jumped 796 points to 21,590, while the S&P 500 ended up 184 to 6528. Caterpillar gained just over $41 a share to $708.46.
Just think if you had bought the day before
Could you
Caterpillar,
imagine?
you had made $41 a share in profit.
That would be
Wow.
nice. That's
And-
called a lot of free lunches.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
In local news, the Peoria County Sheriff's Department reports the finding of skeletal remains in the area of Hill and Crest Drive between Malone and Fremont. Hill Street is in Limestone Township. Peoria County Coroner Jamie Harwood says tests will be performed to determine identity and perhaps cause of death.
A Peoria County grand jury has indicted the 2 men who were arrested after robbing and hijacking a car last month. 34-year-old Chris Coleman and 27-year-old Anthony Campbell allegedly robbed a 48-year-old man as he sat in his car, then took the vehicle, fleeing the scene at Ann and Warren Streets on the city's south side. Officers caught up with the vehicle on the far north end of the city where it crashed at Adams and Lawrence, just a block from the McCluggage Bridge. The 2 have been indicted for aggravated hijacking and possession of a weapon by a felon.
In another police case, 18-year-old Demetrius Cockfield learned yesterday he'll remain behind bars. The teen allegedly was part of a gang of youngsters who robbed and beat a 17-year-old last November in the 1700 block of North Peoria Avenue. Cockfield fled the city and state, but was arrested in Indiana and brought back to Peoria to face charges of armed robbery. And that's the
And
news.
that's some of the news. I want to commend the news team for pronouncing the street Lorenz correctly. That's my old stomping grounds, and Lorenz, if you follow it, it will going east, you will wind up in the Illinois River. Lorenz goes all the way down to what used to be what we called the Upper Free Bridge many years ago. Now you know the rest of the story until we listen to WCBU.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm Courtney Conroy. The Peoria County Sheriff's Office now has its own equipment to use updated technology for testing evidence in shooting investigations. Sheriff Chris Watkins says the direct access to the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network will speed up their identification process.
It can help within hours. We can get data back. Just depends. Sometimes it's up to a day, but a lot of times within hours we can get that back. Especially a homicide.
The system is able to search the network's national database for possible matches to other shootings. An Illinois social service agency providing legal support to downstate immigrants is grappling with a severe reduction of a 60-year program from the Department of Justice. The recognition and accreditation program allows anyone to become a DOJ rep. The Immigration Project's legal director, Danielle DeWinter, says it will be harder for immigrants to get the legal help they need.
It caused quite a bit of panic in my office, and I'm not sure how many clients know the difference between a DOJ rep and a legal aid, like on the face, until they're engaged with us and understand the process.
The Immigration Project has 30 DOJ reps. The Trump administration has announced it will temporarily lift restrictions on ethanol blend E15 sales during the summer. Governor J.B. Pritzker and other Midwest governors are seeking a permanent solution to being able to use the cheaper E15 gas. Capital News Illinois reports federal waivers have temporarily lifted federal restrictions in recent years, but that relief was delayed last year. And Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul is going after what he calls vague funding conditions from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It's the 57th lawsuit against the Trump administration that Raoul's office has been a part of. This time, the USDA is threatening to withhold nearly $6 billion in grant dollars for school lunch and food assistance programs in Illinois.
But what do I say to a struggling single parent whose young children no longer have access to the school lunch program when that may be their only nutritious meal of the day?
The conditions require states to comply with federal policies related to gender identity, transgender student athletes, and immigration. I'm Courtney Conroy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get into the world of sports, and Tyrus Gilliam is here with the latest. Good morning, Tyrus.
Good morning, Roger. Thank you. Let's start with the NCAA tournament. It's the Final Four. Illinois basketball will play number 2 seed UConn at 5:09 p.m. Saturday, and number 1 Michigan will play number 1 Arizona later Saturday night at 7:49. It's kind of some weird times, I'm not going to lie. but-
Isn't it neat, though, that the big
Depending on how much time
That's right.
it's neat that two of the Final Four are Big Ten teams.
Oh, yeah.
Illinois and Michigan.
That means
I think we got a
50-50 chance
Need
there.
that ending of the Duke thing. My goodness gracious. I know you guys have talked about it, but wow.
Oh, yeah.
That was heartbreaking.
It was
Duke.
heartbreaking.
Duke just got to hold on to the ball, maybe.
That's all they had to do.
That's all they need to do.
Remember that?
That's exactly
He
right.
passes it and just
Yeah.
runs it.
Yeah,
My goodness.
the last one that tried to pass it ended up being Caden Boozer,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah, he's now on suicide watch.
He's getting excoriated in the media. Just, oh my goodness.
yeah, that's not yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyways, the NIT Illinois State plays Auburn number 1 tomorrow at 8:30 in the semifinals.
And where are they playing their tournament? Is that in Indianapolis as well?
Yeah.
used to
We
be
don't
New
know,
York,
do
wasn't
we?
it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
ISU and Auburn. They may be playing.
ISU and Auburn.
You know what? I think they're playing in the Madison
I was
Square
going to say, it
Garden.
used to be the NIT was always
Yeah.
in Madison Square
I think the
Garden.
finals,
Oh, New
Final
York.
Four,
Yep. That's what it was.
would be in Madison Square Garden, where the NCAA will be in Indianapolis at Lucas Stadium that seats, as we talked yesterday, 70,000.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Lucas Oil Stadium.
In other news,
Also, the women's NIT Illinois State girls team plays also in the semifinals tonight at 7 p.m. versus South Dakota. And then some MLB news: the Cubs got shut out last night 2-0 they can still go for the series win today at 1:20 p.m. The Cardinals shut out the Mets last night, 3-0. Andre
they
Palante gave up 3 hits and 5 shutout innings and 9 ground balls is what he got out of them.
Up.
Oh, yeah. Riley O'Brien got the save for the Cardinals.
And you tell he's a Cardinal fan.
Right.
I mean, there were a lot of
Yes.
details about
That's what we
the
like
Cardinals.
Right,
There's
right.
some Cardinal fans.
Yeah.
over
I
here.
watched it last night, too,
Yeah,
so
okay.
I did.
Well,
they go for
you,
the
you proved that.
they go for the series win tonight at or today at 12:15 p.m. At home.
Yep.
White Sox lost yesterday, 9-2. Go for the series win today at 12:10 p.m. So they can. I think they were one of the last teams to win too,
Sounds right.
but they can still get a series win today. Phillies won yesterday 3-2. They play the Nationals as they go for the series win at 12:05 p.m. at home. The Yankees shut out the Mariners 5-0. And they'll go for that series win today at 3:10 p.m. versus the Mariners.
Now you're saying series win. It sounds
Because they're all
like,
tied up.
Okay, I
All
want to
these
make
teams
sure
are-
that when you say series win, it doesn't mean a win in the series. It means that they will win the series 2 out of 3.
Yeah, they're all
Or
the
maybe 3 out of 3.
right. They're all rubber matches
Okay,
right now.
they're all right. Now I understand. Thank you, sports guy.
NHL news: the Blackhawks are 27-34-14 with a 4-3 loss in overtime last night versus the Winnipeg Jets. Anton Frondel got his first goal in his 5th game. Also, he is his 5th point in 5 games. So he's a point per game right now. As a 18-year-old coming up at the end of the
And
season
they're
here.
playing like
So
that. Is he with the Blackhawks?
yeah, we just drafted him like last year.
Mm-hmm.
So
So he played for Rockford then.
no, he had a contract with Sweden that he had to finish up, and then he was able to come
right
over.
from Sweden to the Blackhawks.
Yeah, he was.
Wow,
He
that's a
signed.
pretty good jump.
Yeah, he just signed. Well, he signed his contract right after he got drafted with the Blackhawks.
Yeah, was he in kindergarten?
Right.
I mean, geez, what a jump that was.
Right. So he'll be a rookie still for next year because there's not enough games for you to.
Okay.
Be
Did
counted.
you see that video of one of the Major League Baseball players has a 3-year-old son, and showed video, and he was winding up and throwing like he was 21 rather or 23. 3 years old, and he had the wind up down pat, and he threw strikes to whoever was catching him, and I can't remember the name of the Major League player, but obviously he started with the kid fresh out of the womb. Here,
Yeah, I
put a
was gonna say,
glove on.
Yeah, he did.
He must have gotten through toilet training pretty easily, right?
Well,
Yeah, totally.
No, in the 7th inning,
Yeah.
took on a different meaning.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, somebody better sign him now, maybe.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. 3 years old. Wow.
They move on to play the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow at 8 p.m. in Edmonton. So it's an away game for the Blackhawks. St. Louis Blues, who are 31-11, play tonight at 8 p.m. versus the LA Kings in Los Angeles. Also, there was a goalie fight last night in the NHL. New York Rangers goalie Igor Shesterkin and New Jersey's goalie Jacob Markstrom also. And they
What
got
happened to them?
they got in a pretty good scrap. It was
The
the goalie.
the two
two
goalies?
goalies did. They decided to fight each
They
other.
must have been bored.
Yeah. It was it's a kind of a New York rivalry, and
Oh,
the
I see. Okay.
Rangers and the New Jersey Devils.
You can't
and-
do too much damage in a fight unless you take off your headgear. Now,
Oh, they
if you
did.
They did.
They
okay.
popped it off. and
Oh, wow.
It was a pretty good scrap. And then the Chicago Bulls are 29-46, play the Pacers tonight at 7 p.m. And the Bulls also released Jaden Ivey
Yeah,
for
he-
conduct detriment to the team.
Well,
is
that's
what
what
they
he said.
put out.
Yeah,
So-
what he put out was some things he shouldn't have said, but he has that
Right.
right as an American to express his opinion, and to get fired
Exactly.
over it is, a violation of his constitutional rights.
Yes. exactly.
Even though I think most people feel like he shouldn't have said what he said, but
Right.
you know, there are some things that people say about Donald Trump and get away with it and keep their jobs. Sometimes they do. You
That
know,
is true.
However, some nurses have been fired for some of the stupid things they went on, chat rooms, Facebook, and so forth.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it do happen in the United States of America.
Yes, and I think sometimes it depends on who you are.
Who you are and
Who you
who's
are,
being
so-
is this kid any good for the Bulls? They fired. They said waived, but
Well,
he got fired.
Right. He was actually pretty good. He was on the Pistons last year, but then he had a
An injury?
horrific knee injury, so then he's trying to come back, and he's having a kind
he a
of a
starter?
slow year. Yeah, he would have been. He's actually, I mean, he got picked 5th overall in his draft, so he would have been. He's still trying to come back from his injury, so he's going through a lot of stuff, and
Man, he's going through a lot of stuff right now as a result of that.
and
because
more.
He probably is blackballed in the NBA.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
the NBA and professional baseball are run by guys who have a lot of money, but are not the brightest, sharpest pencil in the drawer. You wonder how they make so much money being stupid.
right?
Poor guy doesn't. I'm not even sure he could go to Europe. He might be able to go to Israel. At this point, they'll probably take anybody in their team.
Which I think somebody said they would want to visit.
Oh, really?
I think LeBron said that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
He
what
can
you
say
said.
whatever he wants, really, honestly.
Who are you talking about, LeBron James?
Yeah, LeBron James.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, anything else in the world of sports?
no, that's sports for
All right,
us.
we're down to the bottom of the hour. We have the quiz coming up, the Wednesday morning quiz. But in the meantime, let's get into the news headlines. And at the bottom of the hour at 6:30, our news brought to you by Steve Sink. Steve is a certified, what they call a business intermediary. He works with PHX affiliates, a great company, organization. Steve has been a business broker for over 20 years, and he's helped people buy and sell businesses at a very low price, and some selling for big bucks for that matter. But anyway, if you're interested in learning more about business, either to buy one, sell one, or just explore that arena of occupational endeavor, you can reach Steve. He's available. Nice guy, really a great guy to talk with at 309-696-8508. That number again, Roger, 696-8508. Terry, you have the headlines.
I do, and just for FYI, I looked up the ISU game, and according to the internet, that never lies.
Of course, never does.
It says they're playing at Hinkle in Butler University.
Oh,
Somebody's got some power to be able to get all of those games at the Hinkle.
Yep, and it says ESPN, I guess,
It'd
is
be
covering it.
interesting to
so-
know what the wrinkle is at Hinkle.
Oh, very good.
sad.
Moving on to the news.
Yeah, please.
President Trump will address the nation tonight at 8 p.m. Peoria time with an update on the war with Iran. Trump is seeking an end to the war, but Iran has rejected the latest peace proposal. So the bombing continues by U.S. and Israeli military forces. Big day today in the Supreme Court. Justices will consider whether babies born in the United States to illegal immigrants automatically become U.S. citizens. President Trump last year issued an executive order declaring an end to birthright citizenship. The president is planning to attend the hearing. We'll talk about that case at 7:30 with Peoria attorney Kevin Sullivan. Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled 8-1 against Colorado's ban on conversion therapy for gay minors. The court found the Colorado law violated the First Amendment free speech rights of a Christian counselor. We'll also discuss the latest effort to halt construction of the ballroom at the White House. Federal Judge Richard Leon, who was appointed by Judge W. Bush, ordered a halt to the work. Leon says the president must seek approval from Congress. Trump's attorneys say they'll appeal the decision. Federal Judge Randy Moss has ruled President Trump does not have the authority to halt funding to the liberal news organizations NPR and PBS. The judge called Trump's executive order based on perceived political viewpoints. Our final court case is prosecution of famed golfer Tiger Woods, who has been charged with driving under the influence after he rolled his SUV following a collision with a truck Friday, March 27th. Arresting officers said the 50-year-old Woods failed to properly perform field sobriety exercises. Officials found 2 hydrocodone tablets in his pocket. Tiger has pleaded not guilty and is asking for a trial by jury. We'll get a medical explanation of the drug from Dr. Gene Sidler at 7:15 this morning. It was a big day on Wall Street yesterday as the Dow Jones average soared more than 1,000 points, closing at 46,341. The NASDAQ jumped 796 points to 21,590, while the S&P 500 ended up 184 to 6,528. Caterpillar gained just over $41 a share to $708.46. In local news, the Prairie County Sheriff's Department reports finding skeletal remains in the area of Hill and Crest Drive between Malone and Fremont. Prairie County Coroner Jimmy Harwood says tests will be performed to determine identity and perhaps cause of death. And those are the headlines, Roger.
Thank you, Kylie. And now we have a check of the weather. And the weather this morning brought to you as a service of Morton Community Banks, with over 50 branches across central and northwestern Illinois, offering a full range of personal and business banking services. Hometown Banks, FDIC, and their deposits as a result are safe and secure. Look for the clock tower, and you'll know they have time for you, and we have time for the weather with Dave.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to April 1st. You know, March came in like a lion and went out like a very angry lamb overnight, didn't it?
Yes,
With
it
those
did.
thunder boomers.
And April is ticked off, too.
Yeah, April's not very happy about what we have for it, but we're going to experience it together, everybody. Showers and thunderstorms today with winds gusting up to 26 miles an hour. Hold on to your small dogs and your hats. High of 51 today. Tonight, more showers and thunderstorms. It's going to get warmer overnight with temperatures rising to around 53, so kind of a reverse day for us here. April Fools indeed, right? Tomorrow, more showers and thunderstorms with winds increasing to 36 miles an hour as the mercury thermometer reaches a balmy 74 degrees. Friday, partly sunny, then those showers move in with a high of 77. Saturday, cloudy, some rain showers, 60 degrees looks like, and currently we're holding at a nice warm 40 degrees.
And there you have the news and the weather at the bottom of the hour. It's Wednesday morning, first day of April, as you heard the forecast. A little later on today, we are expecting heavy snowfall, 4 to 6 inches by 5 o'clock this afternoon. You remember years ago, guys on radio did that.
Yeah, April Fool.
Yeah, April Fools!
I can remember.
And actually, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes people got fooled by it with some phony stories by some DJs, but we don't do that anymore. And I don't know
Lost our
why.
sense of humor.
We lost our sense of humor.
this morning.
Well, we haven't lost our sense of humor on this Wednesday. We have our quiz, 20 wonderful questions, and I'm going to predict you folks, the three of you, as the panelists, and that includes Terry and Dave, and of course Tyrus, and you at home for that matter. So good luck. Who was the original host on The Price is Right?
Oh, original. Oh.
Original.
I'm guessing it wasn't Bob Barker.
No, it was
No,
not.
it was not, yeah. Who's
Boy, I thought you guys would get this one.
Wink Martindale?
No?
Price is Right.
Was it Link?
The last name of this guy is the same name of a company that has earth-moving machinery as part of his business.
Mr. Caterpillar.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Bill Callen.
That's
right.
Caterpillar.
Yeah.
Bill Cullen?
Yes, I actually let the name out, didn't I? You picked
Yeah,
up on
I
Bill
figured
Cullen.
you
As Cullen and Almost Cullinan, but Bill Cullen, Cullen.
Okay.
Very good, Terry. What is the longest running syndicated game show in the United States?
I'm going to go with Wheel of Fortune now.
Wheel of Fortune is correct. Wonderful. Who was the original host on Hollywood Squares?
Peter Marshall.
Peter Marshall. You two can jump in anytime
I was
you
gonna
want
say.
to.
Well,
Thanks, Terry.
I'll sit back.
Who hosted
Did he go in- Was he
Password?
the father of Penny Marshall?
No,
No.
no, but his son was a baseball player. Pete.
That's right. He played for the Cubs.
Peter Lecoq or something like that.
Uh,
But yeah,
Yes, you're
Roach.
right. What was his name?
it wasn't Marshall, but I think
No.
Lecoq. or something like that,
Lacosta,
but-
something
something
like that.
Lacoste.
Yeah.
Huh.
Who hosted Password?
password. Huh?
I never really watched game shows.
Alan Ludden,
Alan Ludden. And who was he married to?
Betty White.
Yeah. I knew that one.
What?
What were the three most important words on The Price is Right?
I never watched that one.
I don't know. I don't think I've
Come
watched
on down.
Come on down.
Oh,
is
there we go.
correct.
Come on
Nice
down.
one, yeah. Come on down.
That's true.
Who wrote and released? If you get this one, Terry, definitely we're going to buy
Yeah,
you
this is the
a
Terry
ticket
quiz show
to go
today,
to
by the way.
New York.
Yeah.
Who wrote and released Sunglasses at Night?
Oh.
Oh, I wear my sunglasses at night. Corey Hart.
Very good. You broke the winning streak of Miss Jeopardy.
I get one. That's
What
it.
person on TV game shows holds the record for clapping?
Is this going to be a name we're going to know?
Yes. Hmm.
Ed McMahon,
No?
Johnny Gilbert.
No. Remember TV game shows.
Yeah.
And
Name of the person.
it's a female, and you know who it is. I know you know this one. Who holds the record for clapping? I never thought there was a record, but according to Phil Salzer, there was.
It's a record. Huh?
What are their initials?
VW.
Vanna White
Vanna White, yeah.
or Volkswagen. I'm not
Yeah.
sure which
Volkswagen,
one it would be.
yeah.
Okay, I can see how where
Yeah.
they're going with
It's
that.
On the
Flat
Wheel of Fortune,
Okay.
how much does the wheel weigh?
Oh, they say it's really
Uh,
heavy.
How about we
Three.
go with 30 pounds?
Way short.
Oh,
3
200
tons.
pounds.
Way short.
Oh, 500 pounds.
Way short.
1,000 pounds.
Way short.
Do you
3
type-
tons.
It's pounds.
Oh, it's
Oh, it
pounds.
is pounds.
Don't confuse me
So
with
can we
that.
go with 2,000 pounds?
We're close now.
2,500 pounds.
Ooh, just missed it.
27.
2,499 pounds.
2,400 pounds.
Okay.
Oh boy.
What happened to Alex Trebek and Pat Sajak on April 1st, 1997?
They swapped roles
That
and
is
did each
correct.
other's shows. I remember
Yeah.
this.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I remember
What,
reading
what
about that.
motivated that?
It
I
was an
mean,
April Fool's thing.
April
Yes.
Fool's thing.
Yeah.
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 it was.
I remember reading, but I didn't see it, but I remember.
So they just did it for a
For
joke.
that one day, yeah.
It's kind of
Oh,
clever,
okay.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You'll get this one. Who was the creator of Wheel of Fortune?
Merv Griffin.
Merv Griffin,
Oh,
correct.
yeah.
Who was, this will be a fun question, and we're going to let Tyrus
Oh
try to answer this.
Oh man.
I think this is leading the witness. Is what this
Yes.
is.
Who was the first guest on What's My Line? And he was a baseball player.
Oh.
And since the show was, I believe, produced and aired in New York, he was a New York baseball player.
Okay. So
Mickey Mantle.
yeah, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth,
No,
Lou Gehrig.
no. You're going back too far.
Oh, too far.
Yes.
What year is this?
Well, it doesn't give a year, but when did Truth No, that's the next question.
Well, it goes
What's
late
my
50s, early
line?
60s.
Yogi Berra?
Well, you're getting warm. But yeah, even I believe before Yogi Berra.
Before him?
Hmm. And he was he was a shortstop.
Oh, wait, no. That wouldn't make any sense.
Well,
Does
throw it out
anybody
there.
know?
No,
Anybody else know?
that wouldn't make any sense.
He was not only a shortstop, but when he retired, he did play-by-play for the Yankees.
Oh my
He wasn't
gosh.
very good. He had a squeaky voice, but everybody loved him because he was one of the great ball players, probably the greatest shortstop, although Snuffy Sternwise, I think, was a great shortstop for the Yankees, if not a second baseman. Well, I can tell by the expression on your face you have no idea. Phil Rizzuto.
Okay.
Okay. I thought you would get that.
Dang it.
Who created Truth or Consequences? His first name is the name of a guy you see on television selling carpeting.
Carpeting.
Mm-hmm. All right. It's the same first name as the guy on The Honeymooners.
Jackie.
Jackie Moon.
Art.
Art. Art Linkletter.
No, it's Art
But
Harvey and Jackie
but it
Gleason.
wasn't. It wasn't.
Ralph.
Yes.
Ralph Cramp.
Oh, Ralph Edwards?
Yes, that's it.
Ralph did
Very
me.
good. You did good, kid. You did good. This actress, singer, comedian was later portrayed by Barbara Streisand. Died May 29th, 1951.
Fanny Bryce?
Fanny Bryce. And what was her name on the show?
Funny Lady? Well,
No.
the movie, Funny Girl.
No. Fanny Bryce. Baby Snooks.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Now we got you on that one. In 1952, what island became a part of the Commonwealth of the United States?
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico is correct. What was Elvis Presley's first single released in 1954?
Hound Dog.
You know, that's what I thought.
No, it's
Heartbreak
Lovely-
Hotel was
Lovely
another one
Tender.
that I thought, but
no, it's
It's All Right, Mama?
what was that?
It's All Right, Mama?
That's all right.
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
You
that's
get-
all right.
That's what it is. Okay.
Name the three cities which have been home for the Major League Braves. Let's let Tyrus do this.
Yes, let's
Say it again.
Name the three cities which have been the home for the Major League team, the Braves.
Okay. Well, Atlanta.
Correct?
Let's see. Did they do? Did they do Boston?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. So you got Boston, Atlanta. Name the one in the Midwest.
I know this one.
As a matter of fact,
think even I know this
my
one.
brother
Milwaukee.
pitched in the World Series against them. And the answer is correct, Milwaukee.
I remember.
A 1950, nice going, Tyrus. Let's hear it for Tyrus. A 1958 novel about a murder trial in Michigan later became a film starring who? Name the movie and the star.
Murder trial in Midwest.
Correct.
In Michigan.
Wait.
Michigan.
What?
Michigan.
It's not an answer.
This has gone from game shows.
Who's
All
it?
right, I'll give you the star of the movie.
Okay.
Maybe that will help.
Maybe it'll help.
Jimmy Stewart.
Rear Window?
You know, that was a great movie,
It was.
but that's not
That's
the
not it.
movie.
And if it's not, It's a Wonderful Life.
No,
It's
no.
called Jimmy Stewart.
This was a murder trial.
Oh yeah.
Vertigo?
It's a good one.
No?
Did he play? Yeah, it's a wonderful.
All right,
That's
here's a
good one.
clue. What's a word that they use in medicine about the body, the human body? Well,
Corpse.
apparently that didn't help. It's a word that starts with the letter A.
Anatomy.
Anatomy?
Anatomy of I know. I can picture this movie. Anatomy.
You
of
got
a
it,
killer,
son.
Of a murder?
Of Anatomy of a Murder.
That
Anatomy
is
of-
correct.
Yeah. I remember seeing this time.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't it? Jimmy Stewart was. Who was the first Green Muppet that Jim Henson introduced?
Probably Kermit.
Kermit the Frog. What
Yeah.
year?
1969.
Too high.
1967.
Close.
68.
Very close. What?
68.
No.
65.
67.
No. What I'm-
We're gonna start
If
throwing
you
numbers
let,
out.
let me give you a clue. You guys throwing numbers at me. One of you was.
That was the
close-
weather
one-
forecast.
You
is
know,
what it was. It was
you
just the
one
temperature
of you
is.
was close, and I was going to say that, but then you went back to the '60s.
So 1970.
But
1958.
now you're
Okay,
getting- Now
okay.
you're
Wow.
getting warm.
59.
You're not warm.
Okay, 55.
Yes.
1955. All right.
Okay.
He's older than I am.
Oh, that's right. He did that Boston,
Yeah, 'cause I
television
said
show before he
57,
went
didn't I?
national. Yeah.
He
Okay.
died at a young age.
Yes, he
did
did.
Yes, he
not?
did.
Yeah.
He died
Was
like
it cancer?
pneumonia, I think. I remember seeing
Who,
that.
Kermit? Kermit's
Yeah, I
still
think-
going.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it
you know,
was-
with all the antibiotics we have, and we have some great antibiotics,
Yep.
I still don't understand when I hear that somebody
Yeah.
died of pneumonia.
Yeah.
I thought we had drugs that killed all of those bad
But
things.
if you don't go in and get tested for it and they don't know you've got
and it
it,
gets
That's
worse.
true.
and it gets
Yeah.
worse, that's
Right.
right.
Okay.
Well, that's
Thank
true.
you. Thank you, Dr. Chamberlain. I appreciate
Sure.
it.
Dr.
Who
Chamberlain.
was, by the way, one of the famous doctors on television with the name Chamberlain?
Oh. Richard Chamberlain played
Yeah.
Dr. Kildare.
Yeah. Well, he was good at that.
He was
Well,
very good at
We
that.
don't have good
No, I remember
television
Marcus
shows
Welby.
like we had.
Yeah.
Marcus
and-
Welby.
Here's our last question. Let's end on a high note. What duo, I love that, released The Closer I Get to You?
Oh, I know this. Roberta Flack was one of
That
them.
was one. I never heard of the other person.
Yeah, I
And that's
just
quite
saw
common.
this on the radio the other day.
You just saw it on the
People
radio?
Bryson.
Could you
Well, yeah,
repeat that?
it was
You
well,
just
it was
saw
on my.
What kind of radio do you
It was on my
have?
XM where it comes across the title.
Ah, okay.
My XM radio.
Yeah. I was going to say,
I
what
saw-
kind of radio do you have?
I sense the radio waves right up here.
That is good, though. I love it.
Yeah.
Like Gary and Alphas.
It was Roberta Flack, I know, and I went not People Bryson.
This person, I doubt any of you have ever heard of, unless it would be since you got Roberta Flack and you remember the song.
Give us initials, maybe we'll get it.
Yeah, by their initials.
This I doubt will help you, but
Okay, let's
I will
try
do
it.
that. It's better than nothing. D, as in dog,
Okay.
and H, as in hell of a question.
Doug Henning was doing some magic. No, that's not the answer.
What'd you say?
Doug Henning, but that's not the answer.
Okay. The first name is the name of one of the famous Osmond brothers.
Don.
Donnie.
Donnie
Don.
is correct. Donnie
Don.
is correct.
Oh,
Don
Well-
Ho. Yeah, no, that's not it. either.
Donnie Hathaway.
What was the
Tiny
last?
bubbles.
What was the last name?
So we know it's Don.
Henderson.
No.
It's not Don
I,
Henley.
and I can't give you a clue on the last name because it's kind of a
Can you give us a first letter after?
Well,
A.
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 H-A. Don.
There's a Donnie Hathaway.
That is correct.
Don
Yeah.
Hathaway
Donnie Hathaway.
from the.
Nice going,
Good for
Tyrus.
you.
Tyrus.
Ladies
Woo.
and gentlemen.
Wasn't he? What group was he with? He was with some.
A lot of good songs.
Yeah.
He has a lot of good songs.
So he's more contemporary, huh? Is he still
Yeah, I would
singing?
say.
Is he, what
well,
year
I
are
mean,
we
we
talking
can look
about
that
for
up.
that
He's-
song?
I don't
No, nobody
I was
knows
looking
it.
up Jim Henson, and he died in 1990. He was only 53 of toxic shock syndrome.
Of what?
Toxic shock syndrome, which was caused by Group A streptococcal infection.
Well,
No, he
Kinda-
passed.
well, there
in,
you have the quiz, ladies
79.
and gentlemen, and boy,
Hathaway did?
did the panel do quite well, as I knew they would. Weather-wise, showers and thunderstorms today with winds gusting up to 26 miles per hour. 51 the high today. Tonight, more rain, heavy rain, lightning, thunderstorms, and warmer temperatures rising around 53 overnight. Right now, our temperature standing at 40 degrees. Here's our pet tip of the day.
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. It seems the news these days is all about health care for families. The need is great and the costs are high. In today's economy, saving for the future is hard. Well, even with the best of plans, things can go wrong. And it's that way with our pets, too. They get sick, accidents and injuries happen. To help keep your hard-earned dollars from going to unexpected vet bills, make sure you enroll with a pet health insurance policy today. That's right, there is health insurance for your pets. Most plans offer a 30-day risk-free trial. The plans often pay 80 to 90% of the vet bill and are very affordable. Some plans allow you to enroll and get a 10% discount by naming your favorite nonprofit pet rescue organization. Most policies will cover MRIs, CAT scans, and X-rays, prescriptions, surgeries, chiropractic care, acupuncture, cancer treatments, visits to specialists, after-hours emergency visits, and hospitalization stays. Your pet is a member of your family and depends on you for the best health care possible. Without pet health insurance, you may be forced to choose between the necessary care and your checkbook. Your pet shouldn't have to die because you can't afford his care. So please hear my words and keep your pet and your bank account healthy. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's pet tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Pet insurance. Were you aware, either one of you aware, that you could buy insurance for your pet?
Yep.
I don't know if I knew that or not.
Yeah. Did you know that?
I knew that or not.
Yeah, it's hard to get
I knew
over.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I could have used that. My dog had surgery of $585 and then brought him home and he was bleeding all over the place. I called the people that did the surgery and of course I got a recording. Yeah. And so there went that. So I took him over to the Tri-County joint on Sterling Avenue. Isn't it interesting? Right next to AMT.
Yes, I kind of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I didn't need to use AMT. I was able to put my dog in the car, went over there, and they cleaned out my bill for him. We need $100 down payment. Okay, here's $100, and we'll keep him overnight because he is bleeding. They brought him out with one of those funnels.
The cone of shame. Yes.
Yeah, well, it's a cone of blood. Yeah. And he was shaking, and blood was squirting out of his incision. I know I'm helping people who are preparing eggs and ham for breakfast, but at any rate, I said, I can't take that dog home. He's still bleeding. Yeah. All right, we'll keep him overnight. Ding, 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 and that was $408. So I wish I had pet insurance. It'd be interesting to know what the premium would be, the monthly premium.
Well, that's just it. And then you go and you read through, well, this isn't covered and
Yeah,
this
there's a
isn't
lot of fine
covered.
print.
And that's why I've never
It's worse
gotten
than an
it.
extended warranty on a car.
Yes,
Have you explored that?
I did. I looked into
Yeah.
it.
You did.
We actually had it on this dog or the dog before. I can't remember what it was. So yeah, it pays when they're younger. It pays because they don't eat anything. then. Unless they eat a bunch of socks, and then you have to have those removed,
Yeah.
which we did.
Yeah, but do you did you get a quote?
No, I don't remember. I really don't. But
What's the company? Lloyd's of London. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure it was.
No, there's a couple. I think
There,
there's a-
yeah, we have it. I
there's
just
like
have to look and see.
pumpkin. I've seen that advertised. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's another one. But
well, I wish I had it. Of course, it didn't. Yeah, they said a 30-day free trial. I could have called them and said, "I'll take that free trial."
Yeah.
And right now, have you got $1,000? Probably 80-20, something like that, wouldn't you think?
yeah,
They're not going to pay
No.
for,
never
for
100%. I doubt it.
everything for that matter. See if you remember this song.
That was my brother.
Uncle Sam? Not that. Well, it's hard to know when you get the kind
I know.
of forecast that we get. How do you don't know how to dress?
No,
But,
No.
you can always dress down.
one leg at a time.
Yeah,
That's
you know.
right.
No.
Happy that everything is a solid color and not
Yeah.
plaid. I'm doing pretty well if that happens.
Yeah, you are.
Well, yeah, I like your plaid today, by the way, Tyrus. You're looking
Yeah, I
very,
do too.
very,
Very
like
nice.
you could go do something.
you.
I mean,
7 o'clock
Yeah.
time for the news. So let's get into the news. Let's start with the weather brought to you by Spoon River Home Health. These folks making a difference in the lives of their clients since 1993, providing a comprehensive range of home health services from skilled nursing to bathing and personal care. Your choice matters. It's available at Spoon River Home Health. You can reach them 24/7 at 309-245-0723. Dave has the weather.
well, speaking of bathing, there's showers and thunderstorms out there today with winds gusting up to 26 miles an hour, a high of 51 degrees as we start our new month of April. Tonight, some more showers and thunderstorms. It's going to get warmer overnight as those temperatures rise to around 53 degrees, and that's no fooling. Tomorrow, more showers and thunderstorms coming your way, with winds increasing to 36 miles an hour as the mercury in the thermometer reaches a high of 74 balmy degrees. Friday looking partly sunny, then some showers moving in, a high of 77. Saturday cloudy, showers and 60, and currently we're holding at 40 degrees as you start your new month.
And now let's get into the news this morning, presented by Advanced Medical Transport, the premier provider of emergency and scheduled ambulance service in central, western, and eastern Illinois. You know, there are more than 500 employees of AMT, men and women, dedicated to offering and providing the best in health care. Saving lives is what they do. Now the news with Terry and Dave.
Well, President Donald Trump will address the nation tonight at 8 p.m. Peoria time with an update on the war with Iran. Trump is seeking an end to the war, but Iran has rejected the latest peace proposal. So the bombing continues by United States and Israeli military forces. With growing speculation, troops may be used to take control of Karj Island, located about 20 miles off the coast of Iran. The island is the primary terminal for Iran, handling close to 95% of its crude oil exports.
Well, it's a big day today in the Supreme Court. Justices will consider whether babies born in the United States to illegal immigrants automatically become U.S. citizens. President Trump last year issued an executive order declaring an end to the birthright citizenship. That order is being challenged by the American Civil Liberties Union on behalf of a Honduran citizen, apparently handpicked by the ACLU. Last year, there were 255,000 babies born to women who had no legal status. President Trump's planning to attend the hearing, and we'll talk about this case at 7:30 this morning with Peoria attorney Kevin Sullivan.
Do you think that Trump, when one of the justices agrees with Trump, he's going to, yeah? You think he's going to do that?
He just might.
Knowing him, he might.
Yeah. We never know what he's going to do. And then he jumps and runs around the inside of the court. Let's hear it for Justice Alito.
Let's have a victory lap. Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled 8-1 against Colorado's ban on conversion therapy for gay minors. The court found the Colorado law violated the First Amendment free speech rights of a Christian counselor who said the Colorado law interfered with her ability to treat individuals with same-sex attractions or gender identity confusion, who prioritized their faith above their feelings.
We'll also discuss the latest effort to halt construction of the ballroom at the White House. Federal Judge Richard Leon, who was appointed by George W. Bush, ordered a halt to the work. Leon says the president must seek approval from Congress. Trump's attorneys say they'll appeal the decision.
Democrat federal judge Randy Moss has ruled President Trump does not have the authority to halt funding to the liberal news organizations NPR and PBS. The judge called Trump's executive order based on perceived political viewpoints. Moss, appointed by President Obama, has a perceived political bias in his court decisions. White House attorneys say they'll appeal the ruling as the liberal lawfare continues against Donald Trump.
Is it possible the judge was using also his political views of the law, like he's accusing what Trump did?
Gasp! I don't know.
I just float that up as a possibility.
Our final court case is prosecution of a famed golfer, Tiger Woods, who's been charged with driving under the influence after he rolled his SUV following a collision with a truck last Friday, March 27. Arresting officers said the 50-year-old Woods had some pain pills in his pocket. He was sweating, lethargic, and had bloodshot eyes. Woods failed to properly perform field sobriety exercises.
Tiger has pleaded not guilty and is asking for a trial by jury, said attorney Douglas Duncan, who got a 2017 DUI charge against Woods reduced to reckless driving. We'll get a medical explanation of those drugs from Dr. Gene Sidler at 7:15 this morning.
It was a big day on Wall Street yesterday as the Dow Jones average soared more than 1,000 points, closing at 46,341. The Nasdaq jumped 796 points to 21,590, while the S&P 500 ended up 184 to 6528. Now, Caterpillar gained just over $41 a share to $708.46.
Boy, I wish I bought it today.
There's a lot of wishful thinking here around this table today.
$41 per share jump.
Yes. That's a leap. That's not a jump.
Yeah, that's a leap. In local news, the Prairie County Sheriff's Department reports the finding of skeletal remains in the area of Hill and Crest Drive between Malone and Fremont. Hill Street is in Limestone Township. Peoria County Coroner Jamie Harwood says tests will be performed to determine identity and perhaps cause of death.
Moving to other news in our area, Peoria County Grand Jury has indicted the two men who were arrested after robbing and hijacking a car last month. 34-year-old Chris Coleman and 27-year-old Anthony Campbell allegedly robbed a 48-year-old man as he sat in his car, then took the vehicle, fleeing the scene at Ann and Warren Streets on the city's south side. Officers caught up with the vehicle on the far north end of the city where it crashed at Adams and Lawrence, just a block from the McCluggage Bridge. The two have been indicted for aggravated hijacking and possession of a weapon by a felon.
In another police case, 18-year-old Demetrius Cockfield learned yesterday he'll remain behind bars. The teen allegedly was part of a gang of youngsters who robbed and beat a 17-year-old last November in the 1700 block of North Peoria Avenue. Cockfield fled the city and state, but was arrested in Indiana and brought back to Peoria to face charges of armed robbery. And that's the news, Roger.
All right, that's the news, and we continue with news from WCBU.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Courtney Conroy. The Peoria County Sheriff's Office now has its own equipment to use updated technology for testing evidence in shooting investigations. Sheriff Chris Watkins says the direct access to the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network will speed up their identification process.
It can help within hours. We can get data back. Just depends. Sometimes it's up to a day, but a lot of times within hours we can get that back. Especially a homicide.
The system is able to search the network's national database for possible matches to other shootings. An Illinois social service agency providing legal support to downstate immigrants is grappling with the severe reduction of a 60-year program from the Department of Justice. The recognition and accreditation program allows anyone to become a DOJ rep. The Immigration Project's legal director, Danielle DeWinter, says it will be harder for immigrants to get the legal help they need.
It caused quite a bit of panic in my office, and I'm not sure how many clients know the difference between a DOJ rep and a legal aid, like on the face, until they're engaged with us and understand the process.
The Immigration Project has 30 DOJ reps. The Trump administration has announced it will temporarily lift restrictions on ethanol blend E15 sales during the summer. Governor J.B. Pritzker and other Midwest governors are seeking a permanent solution to being able to use the cheaper E15 gas. Capital News Illinois reports federal waivers have temporarily lifted federal restrictions in recent years, but that relief was delayed last year. And Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul is going after what he calls vague funding conditions from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It's the 57th lawsuit against the Trump administration that Raoul's office has been a part of. This time, the USDA is threatening to withhold nearly $6 billion in grant dollars for school lunch and food assistance programs in Illinois.
But what do I say to a struggling single parent whose young children no longer have access to the school lunch program when that may be their only nutritious meal of the day?
The conditions require states to comply with federal policies related to gender identity, transgender student athletes, and immigration. I'm Courtney Conroy.
Time to get into the world of sports, and that was Mike Side with all the latest. Good morning, Tyler.
Good morning, Roger. Thank you. Let's start with the NCAA tournament. It's the Final Four. Illinois basketball will play number 2 seed UConn at 5:09 p.m. this Saturday. And number 1 Michigan will play number 1 seed Arizona later Saturday night at 7:49 p.m. In the NIT, Illinois State plays Auburn, number 1, tomorrow at 8:30 in the semifinals as well. In the WNIT, Illinois State girls team plays in the semifinals tonight at 7 p.m. versus South Dakota. So Illinois State getting her done, sort of. Yeah. MLB news, the Cubs got shut out last night 2-0, but can still go for the series win today at 1:20 p.m. The Cardinals shut out the Mets last night 3-0. Andre Palante, 5 shutout innings. Riley O'Brien got the save. They play the Mets today for the series at 12:15 p.m. at home. White Sox lost yesterday 9-2. They also go for the series win today at 12:10 p.m. An away game for them. Phillies won yesterday 3-2. The Nationals as they go for the series win today at 12:05 p.m. at home. Yankees shut out the Mariners 5-0. Go for the series win today at 3:10 p.m. versus the Mariners, and it's an away game. Funny how all of them are, all the series are tied at 1.
Yeah,
It's early. NHL news: the Blackhawks are 27-34 and 14 with a 4-3 loss in overtime last night versus the Winnipeg Jets. Rookie Anton Frondel got his first goal in his 5th game. Also, it's his 5th point in 5 games, so he's a point-per-game player as of right now. They move on to play the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow at 8 p.m. in Edmonton. St. Louis Blues were 31-31 and 11, play tonight at 8 p.m. versus the LA Kings in LA. Also, there was a goalie fight last night in the NHL. The New York Rangers goalie Igor Shesterkin and New Jersey's goalie Jacob Markstrom got in a pretty good scrap. As actually, it was kind of like a.
I've learned never fight with a guy named Igor.
Yeah, Igor,
That's
which
yeah.
you know what? He won the fight. He actually won the fight.
Well, there you go.
So
I'm gonna put that as my advice.
he got some good shots. I'm not gonna lie. In the NBA, the Chicago Bulls are 29-46 and play the Pacers, who are 17-58 at 7 p.m. tonight. In other Chicago Bulls news, the Bulls also released Jay Nyby for conduct detriment to the team. And that is our sports report. Back to you guys.
Yeah, in other words, what they essentially are saying, you can't pop off and say things that can be considered slanderous against a certain segment of society, in this case, some things about Pride Month, for that matter.
Yeah.
Well, that takes care of news, weather, and sports on Breakfast with Roger and Friends. And let's talk about Tiger Woods with Dr. Gene Sedlers on the line. Good morning, Gene.
Good morning, everyone.
Did you see that toxicology results indicated that Tiger had 5 different substances in his system?
Roger, those are the drugs he was found in his system in his last DUI report back in 2017. He did not have a blood test. I think he refused a blood test on this occasion. So the only drug they found were the 2 hydrocodone pills in his pocket. But yeah, he had been using drugs in the past, reportedly because of his chronic pain related to his surgeries in his back and otherwise.
I think the guy has a problem, though. Would you not say?
Well, you know, he tested negative for alcohol, and he also tested negative for alcohol with his last DUI, that being the one in 2017. So apparently his problem isn't alcohol, but as you reported, he had the glassy-eyed, and he was slurring his speech. He was acting oddly. He was clearly impaired to the arresting officers, and now he admits maybe in some way that he has a problem, because he says he's going to seek treatment and step away from golf. So, I mean, we can gather from all of that he was probably affected under the influence of something else. We don't know just what it is yet. Maybe it could be the hydrocodone that he had in his pocket, although that is usually a modest level pain reliever. It's an opioid, a narcotic type of pain reliever, but it's not one that usually people get impaired with. It's used for moderate pain relief, and it's usually a temporary prescription. But so I have a suspicion that he may have been back on other stronger drugs. You mentioned one of those that was in his system back with his previous one was hydromorphone. That's also known as Dilaudid. That is a extremely potent narcotic pain reliever, usually given in a hospital in injectable form, but it does come in pill form too, and when it's prescribed in pill form, it's usually a palliative treatment for terminal cancers and things like that, because it is so highly addictive. So again, yeah, we have to suspect from the whole picture here, and now his willingness to seek help for his problems, that he probably is using drugs in a rather addictive manner.
But isn't it true that people who undergo treatment, surgery, and so forth, a good example of that is our dear friend Mike Olson, who indicated that as he recovers and heals, he's using the painkillers with less and less time and opportunities. Isn't that one of the concerns doctors have when they do prescribe painkillers, is they can become addictive?
Oh yes, absolutely true, Roger. And you have a fine line sometimes, and every patient is different. Some patients can become addicted on very short-term and small doses of opioid painkillers, and others can take them for a long time in higher amounts and not have addiction problems, can withdraw them at any time when the pain is finally controlled. So yes, it's very difficult for physicians to know exactly what is the safe level of medicines of that type that you can prescribe. And of course you get criticized from both directions, maybe for not treating pain seriously enough, not giving people enough painkillers, and then you get attacked from the other side that, oh, you're giving them addictive medicines, you're getting them addicted and changing their lives forever. And so yeah, it's a difficult decision sometimes, and when you try to cut patients off of pain pills, when you know that it's gone on too long and they're dependent on them, you often face the wrath of your patients as well. So yeah, difficult decisions. Doctors become used to that over time.
Yeah, wasn't that one of the big controversies over the death of Elvis Presley, that they found out that I think even one of his doctors was charged, was he not, for malpractice because of what he was giving Elvis Presley? And how do you turn down Elvis Presley as a physician? He starts singing "Your Hound Dog" about your doctor.
And thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, yeah, I don't recall the whole story about that, but certainly celebrities and people that have a lot of money can seem to always get doctors to prescribe that sort of thing for them, and yeah, the doctor can and sometimes is held liable. Michael Jackson's doctor went to jail for a period of time for prescribing the drugs that ended up causing his death. And you do see that every once in a while, that can happen. You recall the story with Rush Limbaugh. He became addicted to painkillers and was getting prescriptions for over 600 of these hydrocodones at a time. Actually, I think that was even oxycodone, which is even stronger. A narcotic opioid, and so I mean he must have been taking large amounts of that, but he was able to get off of that, thank goodness. But yes, it happens.
Yeah, as a former physician with the addictive treatment facility at Proctor Hospital, as a doctor on staff there, what were some of the medications that you treated people for?
Well, number one by far was just alcohol, because it doesn't require a prescription. It's available to anybody over the age of 21, and oftentimes even to people younger than that. And so it's readily available and it's inexpensive. So yes, the most common addictive substance that was treated was just alcohol addiction. And after that, it was the prescription types of pain medicines, and many of those are available on the street, along with illegal drugs like heroin. Back in the 1990s and early 2000s, very, very cheap heroin was available on the street, even in Peoria. And then after that, it's been a mix of other drugs, ranging from cocaine to some of these much stronger ones now you hear about, like fentanyl. Fentanyl, you're talking about micrograms. When people take an aspirin, it's maybe 81 or 325 milligrams. A microgram is 1/1000th of a single milligram, and yet as little as 50 micrograms of fentanyl can be fatal to some people.
Wow.
So it's extraordinarily potent and a tiny amount. they even lace some of these other drugs with a little bit of fentanyl just because it is so addictive, and it gets them addicted to drugs that may not be otherwise quite as addictive in their nature. So you have to deal with all of those, and we saw a mix of all of those kinds of addictions at the Illinois Addiction Center.
Do you have any idea what the return rate was for people who were treated at the Illinois Addiction Center?
Well, it's very hard to judge. They do keep some statistics in that regard. People who have relapses oftentimes don't go back to the same treatment facility, so you don't really have a follow-up on many of those. They don't provide much follow-up. Usually, people go back eventually to their own family doctors. But if an addiction center can even have anywhere close to 50% success rate, that is very good, because the relapsing rate is extraordinarily high in addiction medicine, and a lot of it has to do with just the wiring of your brain, and some people have an addictive type personality, and their brain is wired for that. It becomes difficult for them to stay off of those drugs.
Yeah. Is alcoholism hereditary, inherited?
Well, the actual disorder of alcohol dependency itself may not be, but some of the factors that cause it are hereditary. So yes, you do see it's actually a fairly strong hereditary family connection with alcoholism. And it has to do, again, with neurologic factors that are inherited from one generation to the next. People becoming dependent and using alcohol to moderate stresses or whatever it is that they have that they need to take that for. But yes, there is a strong family connection with alcoholism.
And I bring that up because one of the greatest comedians of all time, Jonathan Winters, was an alcoholic, and both of his parents were alcoholics. And I remember he telling me that he woke up in the, I believe, the Westmont Hotel in San Francisco one morning after a night where he performed, and he had whiskey bottles in the room, as he told me. And he said, you know what, I need to kick this habit, because if I don't, it's going to kill me. And he was a recovered alcoholic. And I said, what was your secret? How did you overcome it? And he said he went to AA meetings every day of his life for the next 20 years, and it didn't matter where he was, including in France, where he was able in Paris to find an AA facility or meeting place. And as he said, 7 days a week he went to AA meetings, and that's how he became a recovered alcoholic. And that's the end of my story.
Alcoholics Anonymous has helped a lot of people, maybe as many as any other form of treatment can do. But everybody's different again, and some people need other treatments. We have medical treatments now that can sometimes be helpful as well, drugs that can reduce the cravings for the alcohol, but you hate to rely on more drugs just to treat a drug dependency, so that's just kind of like a last resort sometimes.
Yeah. Well, he also was bipolar, so he was treated for that as well. He had a mess of problems, but it didn't stop him from being as funny and innovative as he was. And I urged him to write a book to help other people, because what he accomplished under very extenuating circumstances is absolutely amazing. How long were you with the Illinois Addiction Center at Proctor Hospital?
Just for about 3 or 4 years. At the tail end of my career, I helped out there when they needed another doctor. I was not in charge. I was one of the other staff doctors that worked under Dr. Moberg, who was the head at that time. He's no longer working in Peoria, but he was a brilliant guy, and he did a lot of good work there with it was located there at the Proctor facility. It was, at that time, it was called the Illinois Institute of Addiction Recovery. It's under a different name now that it is part of Carle system, but it is still believed to be one of the better addiction facilities in the Midwest, and we even got people from Hollywood and from areas far away that would come, because if you're going to get treatment of that nature, you often do want to have privacy and keep it out of the newspapers and so forth. So we had celebrities and people from all over the country that would come and seek treatment there.
I believe the executive director went on to bigger and better things. I can't think of his name. Maybe you can. He wound up at the Betty Ford Addiction Center in California. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was the non-medical guy that ran the facility and did a terrific job. Yeah.
But
it's been very well run.
Yeah. But I can't remember his name, and apparently you can't either.
I can't help you there either.
Okay, well, nice try. I'm going to start taking Prevagen later today and see if that helps.
If you can remember.
Exactly right. All right, I appreciate it. We'll be talking to you later in the week because we want your predictions on the Final Four. And you think ISU can beat Auburn? That's a big game coming up for Central Illinois basketball fans.
Yeah, Auburn's, I was looking at that this morning. Auburn's a 6.5-point favorite. I'm surprised it's not even a little bit more. I think that's going to be a very tough task because Auburn's got some extremely athletic guys, big guys. Illinois State's been playing very well here at the tail end of the season. Maybe they can keep it close, but I would go with Auburn even with the 6.5 points. I think they're going to win that game. The other game is New Mexico and Tulsa. They are fairly even. New Mexico is a 3.5-point favorite in that, but I think Tulsa can win that game. I've followed some of their games this year, and they're a very athletic team as well. Those are the two games tomorrow night at the Hinkle Fieldhouse, and then they play a championship game on Sunday, and that championship game is at the bigger downtown arena, the Gainbridge Fieldhouse downtown Indianapolis. And it's just too bad Bradley couldn't stay in it a little bit longer. Of course, they were in the same part of the bracket as Illinois State, so they wouldn't have both been in
the
tournament.
They would have met each other.
They would have met in an earlier round, yeah, Illinois State, it's nice to be playing well at this time of the year. And then as far as the NCAA tournament, boy, it's hard to look too far into that and understand where these teams are going to be playing next. I think Illinois has got a good shot to go further, but they are playing UConn, and UConn is awfully tough. Illinois is actually a favorite in that game by 1.5 points, which surprised me. And the other side of the bracket are two number 1 seeds, Michigan and Arizona. From the beginning, I've thought Michigan probably is the team that's going to go all the way. They are deep, they are big and strong. They've got that 7'2" guy in the middle that's playing better and better as the season goes along. So I would go with Michigan in that game, and it'd be nice to see Michigan and Illinois, a Big Ten matchup in the championship.
Yeah.
That would be great. All right, thank you, Gene. As always, Terry has a little item for you.
Yes, Kevin Sullivan has weighed in, and he said that the guy you might be thinking of was John Swartlos.
Schwartz.
Well, yeah, I remember John. Sure.
Schwartzlove. Schwartzlove. Yeah.
Swartlow. Anyway,
yeah.
He became the director at Betty Ford.
See,
so that's.
There you go. Thank you, Kevin. We're going to talk to Kevin here shortly. Anyway, thanks, Gene. I hope you're enjoying yourself.
Yes, we're having nice weather and having a good time. Yep.
What's the high today in Florida?
It's supposed to be 86 today where we are. Right now it's low 70s right now. It's getting warmer now. Yeah.
Well, have fun, and we'll talk to you very shortly.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
Dr. Gene Sidler. And speaking of Jonathan Winters.
Hi, this is Clyde down at the gas station. Your car fell off the rack.
When you lose your car off the rack, for that matter. All right, let's get into the news at the bottom of the hour, brought to you by our good friend, of course, we're talking about Bob Manning. For investment questions and information, Consider Bob Manning of the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley in Peoria. Bob's the Senior Vice President, has been in the investment advisory field for more than 27 years. His phone number, 309-671-4653. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Here's Terry.
President Donald Trump will address the nation tonight at 8 p.m. Peoria time with an update on the war with Iran. Trump is seeking an end to the war, but Iran has rejected the latest peace proposal. So the bombing continues by U.S. and Israeli military forces. Big day today in the Supreme Court. Justices will consider whether babies born in the United States to illegal immigrants automatically become U.S. citizens. President Trump last year issued an executive order declaring an end to birthright citizenship. The president is planning to attend the hearing. We'll talk about the case shortly with Peoria attorney Kevin Sullivan. Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled 8-1 against Colorado's ban on conversion therapy for gay minors. The court found the Colorado law violated the First Amendment free speech rights of a Christian counselor. We'll also discuss the latest effort to halt construction of the ballroom at the White House. Federal Judge Richard Leon, who was appointed by George W. Bush, ordered a halt to the work. Leon says the president must seek approval from Congress. Trump's attorneys say they'll appeal the decision. Federal Judge Randy Moss has ruled President Trump does not have the authority to halt funding to the liberal news organizations NPR and PBS. The judge called Trump's executive order based on perceived political viewpoints. Our final court case is prosecution of famed golfer Tiger Woods, who's been charged with driving under the influence after he rolled his SUV following a collision with a truck on Friday, March 27th. Arresting officers said the 50-year-old Woods failed to properly perform field sobriety exercises. Officials found 2 hydrocodone tablets in his pocket. Tiger has pleaded not guilty and is asking for a trial by jury. It was a big day on Wall Street yesterday as the Dow Jones average jumped more than 1,000 points, closing at 46,341. The NASDAQ jumped 796 points to 21,590, while the S&P 500 ended up 184 to 6,528. Caterpillar gained just over $41 a share to end at $708.46. In local news, the Peoria County Sheriff's Department reports the finding of skeletal remains in the area of Hill and Crest Drive between Malone and Fremont. Peoria County Coroner Jamie Harwood says tests will be performed to determine identity and maybe even cause of death. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, now a check of the weather, then we'll talk to Kevin Sullivan, who is patiently waiting online for us. And a check of the weather brought to you by Kyle Varnold, providing personal and business insurance for auto, home, life, and health. Kyle, works with a number of companies to find the right price, the right policy for individuals, families, and businesses. And you can reach Kyle for more information today at 309-682-0519.
All right.
Here's Dave.
Here he is. He just came out of the rain. That's why, yeah.
Okay.
So we're looking at, as we start a brand new month today, showers and thunderstorms today with winds gusting up to 26 miles an hour, a high of 51 degrees. Tonight, more showers and thunderstorms roll in. It's going to get warmer overnight with those temperatures rising to around 53 degrees. Tomorrow, more showers and thunderstorms come our way with winds increasing to 36 miles an hour as the mercury on the thermometer reaches 74 degrees. Friday, partly sunny, then some showers move in with a high of 77. Saturday, cloudy, some rain showers, 60 degrees. Currently, we're holding at a 38 rainy degrees.
Yeah, the temperature dropped once again. Yeah. And then we just finished talking to Dr. Sidler, where he says it's 70 and beautiful. And Kevin Sullivan's on the line. He's in Washington, D.C. He will be going with President Trump to the hearing on birthright citizenship in the Supreme Court. Or do I have that wrong, Kevin?
No, I was just checking out my seat in the Beast as we ride up Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah. Have you ever visited the Supreme Court in your great legal career?
I have visited the Supreme Court as a tourist, as a visitor, not as an attorney. It would be something to do that, and that's very few attorneys have had that privilege. to be able to argue in front of the Supreme Court. But it is it's quite inspiring. It's overwhelming. It's very nostalgic. The Supreme Court, where they do the arguments and the judges come out and there's 9 justices, is not as big as what you would think. It looks so grand in the drawings you see on TV and things like that, but the room's really, even in terms of people in the audience, it's not that big. It's like when you look at the House of Representatives in the Capitol. For example, the State of the Union address is where we really get to see that. That room looks huge, and really it's not.
Really?
How they get those 600 people in that room, well, maybe 700 with the visitors and the balconies, it is just amazing. But really, I remember walking in there one time, and I actually was given an opportunity to walk up to the speaker's podium and looking out, and it really, the other thing, too, is if you ever watch a Peoria City Council meeting, the horseshoe in the city and the fourth floor of City Hall is not that big, but it certainly looks big when you see the cameras panning during council meetings. So, it's a little distortion.
Yeah. Interesting, parallel to that, by the way, is we went to the Tonight Show, Johnny Carson Tonight Show. Unfortunately, he wasn't there the night we were there. Joan Rivers took his place. And the same thing, what we saw was similar, but the way they made it look larger is they use mirrors on each side of the stage, and it gives you the appearance of it being much, much larger than what it is. Well, nothing is more large than, at this particular point, this particular time of the year, than the discussion of birthright citizenship. What are your views, and how do you think the Supreme Court, they won't rule today, I'm sure. They will hear the arguments and then issue a ruling probably in December of 2038.
I expect that we'll have a ruling in June of this year. That's 3 months out, and the Supreme Court term ends the end of June. They like to get all their decisions out by then. So I expect we'll see a flurry of decisions coming out very end of June of this year. It's going to be difficult. It's difficult to predict, but, based upon what I have read on this case, I believe the Supreme Court is going to uphold birthright citizenship for a number of reasons. One, the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which went into effect in 1866, provides in Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. Now, there's been a lot of cases that have interpreted this provision of the 14th Amendment along the way that have said, essentially, U.S.-born children of non-citizens were indeed citizens, with the exception of children born to foreign diplomats in this country. And there's been cases that have even said, as recently as 1857, if somebody is here illegally, and during that period of being here illegally, they bear children, the children are in fact, no matter what, they are in fact citizens of this country. And so the Supreme Court would really have to turn legal precedent on its heels and completely, and that's not unheard of. They can do that. That's their prerogative, so to speak. But I think the key thing that the Trump administration is trying to argue is, obviously, they're not going to change the 14th Amendment as it stands right now unless there's a new constitutional amendment that abrogates or modifies this. But the key word is subject to the jurisdiction of this country. And they're talking probably about people who have come into this country and are unaccounted for. The gotaways, the people that have fled, who knows where they are. Are they really subject to the jurisdiction of this country if we don't know who they are, where they are, what they're doing, and are they able to take advantage of the benefits of this country until they surface? Are they really subject to the jurisdiction of this country? And I still think the Supreme Court's going to go with precedent. I think they're going to find that, as one judge said, Supreme Court, well, no, this was actually a New York judge years ago, said, children born here of temporary sojourners are, in fact, citizens. And so I think it's been pretty much, the 14th Amendment has been universally interpreted to include everybody that is born on American soil. And again, I don't know how the Supreme Court's going to change that. I don't think it will be a unanimous opinion, because I think you're going to find some judges that are going to agree with President Trump's position on this, that said the state of the times maybe requires now a different decision. Keep in mind the Constitution is not necessarily a static document. It provides a wonderful framework going forward, but it is an evolving document that has to be interpreted from time to time based on new developments, based on modernity, based on a number of things that have happened. Could you imagine the founding fathers when they, let's say, they enacted the Fourth Amendment against unreasonable searches and seizures, put a provision in 1789 about how we're going to be able to look at somebody's cell phone. I mean, it's just got to be an evolving document. So I don't see it being unanimous, but I do see the Supreme Court upholding its precedent and its prior interpretations of the 14th Amendment.
I would not be surprised, based on recent decisions, that John Roberts and Amy Barrett will join with the liberals on the court.
Well, and to me, I don't know if it's a really conservative or a liberal decision. If this was what they call a case of first impression, where this really hasn't been decided by prior courts, then I think it would be more that. But I think the Supreme Court, in deciding this, cannot ignore precedent. And the one case that they talked about a lot was a case that was decided, I believe, 1957. It's called the Hintopoulos case, and it's where two people overstayed their visas, and they did so on purpose, and they hid themselves to give birth to a child, to kind of give them vicarious citizenship. And Justice Harlan, who was the Chief Justice at that particular time, agreed that the court said that the child in that case was, quote, of course, an American citizen by birth. And apparently Justice Alito is a huge fan of Justice Harlan. I expect he's going to agree with his I'm not going to say mentor, but perhaps the person he tries to emulate, Justice Harlan. So, again, I don't know. I think when you've got precedent there, that's got to be overcome, and I just don't see it happening. And I will think at the end of the day, people that are born in the United States or a territory thereof will be deemed to be an American citizen.
Are there any other countries that allow that to be determined in the same way in the world?
I haven't done a survey of the other countries and whether they're European countries, third world countries, what have you. But I have heard commentators on TV say that the answer is no. Like if you're born in France, you're not French. If you're born in England, you're not UK citizen. You can't vote there. You can't do this. You can't do this. And I trust what I've heard on TV, but I have not done my own. I haven't had time, frankly, to do my own perusal of those countries. And you never know. In some countries, if you were, for whatever reason, born in Russia, are you Russian and now you can't leave the country? I don't know how that applies because there's so many different types of governmental systems that are out there. Whether you have a democracy, a republic, whether you have a authoritarian, totalitarian, fascist, communist, socialist, it's just hard to say. And I think we are one of the only. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the reason I bring it up, we have troops stationed all over the world. And I spent close to 2 years. And if I were married, I'm sure during that time my wife would have become pregnant and given birth to a child. Would that child then be considered German?
Well, that's a good question, and I've had people explain it. I've seen people explain it that in certain circumstances, especially during when there's military assignments and military, let's say, conflicts, does that entitle them to what they call dual citizenship? And that I don't have the answer for, but I think that is certainly something that probably could occur. Or what happens if, let's say, you were stationed in Germany, met a German lady, and she became pregnant and they had a baby while you were stationed over there? What country has jurisdiction? I think you go back to the dual citizenship situation, and where is everybody going to live going forward? I think that's to be determined. But I can't quote you any German law or, frankly, international law or American law as to how that will occur. That would probably be covered perhaps under some sort of military code of some sort.
All right, Your Honor, would you take that under advisement for 30 days?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about another judge and another attempt to prevent the construction of the $400 million ballroom at the White House has stopped construction and as a temporary restraint, as I understand it, and ruling that the president has to get the approval of Congress before proceeding. What are your thoughts about this latest judicial decision?
Judge Leon out of the District Court for the District of Columbia has been somewhat of a lightning rod, and the media is making a big deal. He was appointed by George W. Bush. Therefore his roots should be conservative, et cetera, et cetera. I read his decisions, 35 pages, and it's based. And I'm not saying it's a bad decision, but he puts a lot of gratuitous comments in there. He tries to be subtle, slamming the president and the audacity of the president to do this. I think before talking about what his decision in this particular situation, I think there's a real practical problem that is overlooked. And I know I've always preached that the court's job is to apply the rule of law, and this judge did that. He based his decision to halt the construction. He did it based on constitutional and statutory provisions. What's unique here is this. We all know from basically a civics class, Congress, especially the House of Representatives, has the power of the purse. They are the branch of government to appropriate funds, to build, to run the government, to do whatever the government's going to be doing. In this case, there's no appropriation for Congress to come up with because this is being privately funded. So that complicates, I think, this situation. The other thing is, from a practical standpoint, what are they going to do at this point? The old East Wing has now been demolished. There is a big hole on the east side of the White House, and you're going to halt this, and it's going to look like, the White House is going to look like it's missing their upper plate of dentures, so to speak, with a with this basically project that's halted. Now there's been other commissions that have approved doing this, and the aesthetics and the, to me, I question, why is the National Trust for Historical Preservation doing this? Because that the White House is going to be improved. The facilities are improved. The functionality is being improved. From a practical standpoint, it's a win-win. The taxpayers aren't paying for this, yet you're getting a great improvement in the White House, and that addition to the White House renovation is going to match the exterior perfectly. It's going to be no taller, but it's going to have a little bit more square footage to be able to accommodate things for future administrations. So from a practical standpoint, Number one, I don't know why they're doing this, except perhaps TDR, Trump Deranged Syndrome. Number two, what's going to happen to the construction that is now halfway? You know, you've got the demolition done. They are sometime later this month going to start the actual construction, and according to everything, the project is well ahead of schedule. So, you know, are you going to just let it sit there until what? Congress approves this? Now, there's some authority that say Congress does have oversight over all federal properties under these situations, and I tend to think that's probably true. You know, the solution here is let's get a bill before the House and the Senate and have them approve it. Now the question becomes, knowing how things are, I foresee the House would approve it because they've got a majority, and it only takes a simple majority in the House. The question now becomes, does it take a simple majority or a higher majority, a 60 votes in the Senate? And if they have 60 votes, you know they're not going to have the votes to get this through because people are just going to undermine Donald Trump no matter what. And no matter what the project is, no matter the benefits, no matter the improvements, the advancements, and all those things. However, that you hear about in the Senate, well, we can set this up as a reconciliation bill. And as I understand the Senate rules, which can be complex at times, if the bill involves appropriations or has a financial connection to it, whether appropriations or moving money or doing other things, in the scope of the legislation, a reconciliation bill is done on a simple majority. So if you, like, for example, the big, beautiful bill we heard about from 2025, that was passed by a simple majority with the vote of the vice president to break the tie as the president of the Senate. Well, I think this would be basically an appropriations bill, although the money's not necessarily being appropriated for this project. So hopefully they could get that to the Senate, and okay, let's solve this problem and have Congress approve it and move forward. I mean, this is just such a distraction that nobody needs right now. And again, you know, it would be, and there's been other projects that have been done at the White House without congressional approval. My understanding is, such as I think it was Harry Truman put in a bowling alley. I'm not sure if it was President Kennedy put in a pool. Richard Nixon's covered up the pool and made that the press room. President Obama built a basketball facility on the White House lawn to the tune of many, many millions of dollars. And I'm not sure those had congressional approval. Those simply got done. You know, here you're talking about a great improvement to the infrastructure of the White House. And you know, another thing, when you're at the White House, whether you're outside of the White House or you're inside of the White House, it's not very big when you think about it. It really, you know, the West Wing is very, very close, and to give them, you know, double the footage, square footage or more, so now that if the president or somebody's holding a gathering in what will be the new ballroom, they don't have to have extra seating outside in a tent when maybe it's cold or rainy or what have you. And to me, it just makes sense to go forward with this project under these circumstances.
Okay, one final case, and that is Tiger Woods. He has pleaded not guilty and wants a trial by jury. What's the strategy here?
Well, you know, this is different than your garden variety DUI, you know, which includes alcohol. And alcohol is, you know, and I'll talk about Illinois law, but it tends to be consistent with other states. Let's say this was a DUI alcohol case, and you can have civilian witnesses, you can have police officers testify without expert opinions as to the effect of alcohol on somebody, because either most individuals have experienced the effects of alcohol on themselves or been around people who they've seen have had issues with alcohol. This is different because this is a DUI drug case, prescription drug case. And for a person to be on under the influence on a prescription case, essentially what's going to have to be proven is he exceeded the dosage of his prescription medication. And if he let's say he took his medication as prescribed and perhaps had an adverse reaction, an overreaction for whatever reason, let's say that he had at the time he was suffering from hypoglycemia, hypotension, things like that, which may exacerbate the effect of medication, unbeknownst to the person taking it. That can be a defense. However, in this situation, they're going to have to bring in what they call drug recognition experts that are going to say, yeah, clearly he was under the influence. And you can't say, well, by virtue of an accident, he was under the influence. At some point, it's been said that he was trying to reach for his phone, he was distracted, didn't see a car coming ahead of him. You know, and of course, I don't put much stock or reliance in the mugshot because I've never seen a good one from anybody. It's about as bad as the driver's license photo, you know. But, you know, and in this case, they gave him the field sobriety test. And, you know, if I'm his lawyer, I am going to, first of all, the first test they give, they call them standardized, and I think that's, I think they're unstandardized. I think that the field sobriety test they give at the scene of a DUI arrest are have no rhyme or reason with operating a motor vehicle. But the first test they give is what they call the horizontal or vertical nystagmus test, where they look at your eyes. And this test has been challenged in the courts, very well challenged in Illinois about 15 years ago. And some optometrist, I want to say, in the East Coast came up with the idea that alcohol and drugs have an effect on your central nervous system, which cause your eyes to kind of ticker or flitter. And based on the nature and the extent of that flittering, so to speak, depends on how much drugs you have in your system. You know, and, okay, there's also 136 other causes of nystagmus other than alcohol or drugs. He just was in a rollover accident where you knew he hit his head. He was pretty shaken up, you know, and could that have been the cause of nystagmus? You know, could it be something else that was medicinally created? Was it something that was neurologically created? Was there any number of the etiology of the nystagmus is going to be questionable? The next one they do is what they call the walk the line or walk and turn test. Take 9 steps, heel to toe, turn around and come back. You know, in the first question the police officers ask, do you have any physical limitations that would prohibit you from doing this test? And if I've seen it once, I've seen it 100 times, maybe 1,000. Somebody says, yeah, I'm recovering from a hip surgery or I just had a knee replacement. Well, go ahead and do the test anyway, and I'll take that into consideration. Love to hear that, because how is a police officer taking that into consideration when you're, you know, I don't think an orthopedic surgeon can take that into consideration. And somebody, you know, has to do this test and walk the line, do it perfectly. You don't get rewarded for doing it right. You get penalized for mistakes you made, and you make like 2 mistakes. There's 18 total steps plus a bunch of other things in there. Let's say it's a total of 30 things they're looking at. You know, if you make 2 mistakes, ooh, you're probably over the line. You're probably impaired. And the next test is hold your foot out 6 inches above the ground, count to 30. Don't use your arms to balance. And God forbid if you're on an area where it's windy, it's slippery, it's raining.
I can't do it sitting down.
You know, I've had a few clients that have said in the heat of the moment, I couldn't do this test if I was sober, and unfortunately they weren't. You know, but you know, and those tests are very easily you can with some good preparation you can attack those. So, you know, I think the biggest thing that Tiger's going to have right now, 2 problems he's going to have. One, the court of public opinion, and there's people out there that are excoriating him, and there's people out there that are sympathizing with him. Number 2, because he refused a blood or urine test, that's a separate offense in Florida, and that I don't see him getting incarcerated for that, but I think he will have probably a 12-month suspension, if not longer, of his driving privileges, which really shouldn't affect him because there's no reason he couldn't get hire a driver or driving service. I heard yesterday he is going into treatment. I think that's wonderful. Maybe it's time for him, and I can't speak to that because I don't know all the details, but I think that will improve his standing in the court of public opinion. And I always wonder, and I guess if I could have asked Dr. Sidler this morning, I would have asked him, it's one thing when people go into treatment to, if they're got a problem with alcohol, okay? But when you're taking pain pills to combat pain, what do you do? How do the professionals get you off of that stuff and yet you still cope with your pain? And I remember Rush Limbaugh did that. I think Rush had a problem with his ear, if I'm right.
Yeah.
And he was
on heavy
taking
drugs.
He was. And how does you get the person like Rush Limbaugh, and I'm not picking on Rush, but a person like him off of that stuff, yet how do they cope with the pain, which is obviously going to be exacerbated by the lack of medication? Yeah. And I don't have the answer for that, but I'm sure there is one.
Yeah. And it is, I believe in his asking his attorney for a jury trial. I think they're hoping that segment of society would be represented on the jury, being sympathetic, poor guys on pain pills, and what do you need? Only one person to say not guilty of DUI?
Well, that, a little bit, that's a misnomer. To get a case resolved, you need a unanimous verdict. You need 12 jurors to say you're guilty or 12 not guilty. Anything in between is a mistrial that could be retried. Right. But I don't see this making as far as a jury trial. He moved his arraignment, which is where you go in and you're advised of the charges, you make your initial plea. So when he went in and did that yesterday, and perhaps he did that in anticipation of him not being available on the originally scheduled arraignment date, you always enter a plea of not guilty, and you always preserve all your rights. And in some situations, in some counties, for example, federal court being one, Peoria County being a jurisdiction, the way they do it is you always request a jury trial. There's two reasons for that. If you plead not guilty, you always are at liberty later to change that to a guilty. But if you go in and plead guilty, you can't always change that to a not guilty. And if you don't preserve your right and ask for a jury trial, you may have waived that. But if you ask for a jury trial, you probably still can waive that and go to a bench trial or work out a plea agreement. So I don't see this going to a jury trial under the circumstances. I just see that as being normal operating procedure and just preserving his rights and keeping everything open and on the table.
Sounds good to me, Your Honor. I appreciate it. As always, Kevin Sullivan, for your insights on several cases that have public interest. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. Everybody have a good day. Happy Easter. We'll talk to you next week.
Same to you, Kevin.
Right.
Take care.
Kevin Sullivan, ladies and gentlemen, and News, Weather, Sports next on Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU FM 90.7 in Peoria, Illinois, also on YouTube. Good morning to everybody watching our program on YouTube today, the 1st of April. And that's no April Fool's joke, or is it? It is the first day of April, a Wednesday morning, and we begin with a check of the weather. And this is the time of the year, especially with this kind of weather, homeowners learn they might just have a leaking roof, something wrong with the roof. Well, that means it's time to call Hines Roofing, the experts. Hines Roofing has been repairing and replacing roofs in Central Illinois for over 33 years. For a no-obligation inspection of your roof, call Doug Hines at 309-672-0910, 672-0910. Hines Roofing, quality work by quality people. Dave has our weather.
Indeed, I do. Showers and thunderstorms looking at us today. It's probably still raining out there now. Look out our window. Oh, we don't have a window.
We don't
but,
have
but we hear it's raining. With winds gusting to 26 miles an hour, high of 51 degrees today. It's a little chilly now, though. But tonight, more showers and thunderstorms. It's going to get warmer overnight. Temperatures rising to around 53, so steady temperatures today. Tomorrow, more showers and thunderstorms come our way, with winds increasing to 36 miles an hour, so it's definitely a hold-on-to-your-hat day tomorrow, as the mercury on the thermometer reaches 74 degrees. Friday, partly sunny, then showers move in, a high of 77. Saturday looks to be a cloudy and rainy day, a high of 60. And currently we're holding at a 38 rainy degrees.
And now a check of the news brought to you by Spoon River Home Health, making a difference in the lives of their clients since 1993. Your choice matters at Spoon River Home Health. You can reach them today at 309-245-0723. The number again, 245-0723. With our lead story, here's Terry.
President Trump will address the nation tonight at 8 p.m. Peoria time with an update on the war with Iran. Trump is seeking an end to the war, but Iran has rejected the latest peace proposal. So the bombing continues by U.S. and Israeli military forces, with growing speculation troops may be used to take control of Karj Island, located about 20 miles off the coast of Iran. The island is the primary terminal for Iran, handling close to 95% of its crude oil exports.
It's a big day today in the Supreme Court. Justices will consider whether babies born in the United States to illegal immigrants automatically become U.S. citizens. President Trump last year issued an executive order declaring an end to birthright citizenship. That order is being challenged by the American Civil Liberties Union on behalf of a Honduran citizen, apparently handpicked by the ACLU. Last year, there were 255,000 babies born to women who had no legal status. President Trump is planning to attend this hearing, and we discussed this at great length last hour with Peoria attorney Kevin Sullivan.
Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled 8-1 against Colorado's ban on conversion therapy for gay minors. The court found the Colorado law violated the First Amendment free speech rights of a Christian counselor, who said the Colorado law interfered with her ability to treat individuals with same-sex attractions or gender identity confusion, who prioritized their faith above their feelings.
Last hour, we also discussed the latest effort to halt construction of the ballroom at the White House. Federal Judge Richard Leon, who was appointed by George W. Bush, ordered a halt to the work. Leon says the president must seek approval from Congress. Trump's attorneys say they'll appeal that decision.
Democrat federal judge Randy Moss has ruled President Trump does not have the authority to halt funding to the liberal news organizations NPR and PBS. The judge called Trump's executive order based on perceived political viewpoints. Moss, appointed by President Obama, has a perceived political bias in his court decisions. White House attorneys say they'll appeal the ruling as the liberal lawfare continues against Donald Trump.
And our final court case of this discussion is prosecution of famed golfer Tiger Woods, who's been charged with driving under the influence after he rolled his SUV following a collision with a truck last Friday, March 27th. Arresting officers said the 50-year-old Woods had some pain pills in his pocket, was sweating, lethargic, and had bloodshot eyes. Woods failed to properly perform field sobriety exercises.
Tiger has pleaded not guilty and is asking for a trial by jury, said attorney Douglas Duncan, who got a 2017 DUI charge against Woods reduced to reckless driving.
It was a big day on Wall Street yesterday as the Dow Jones average soared more than 1,000 points, closing at 46,341. The Nasdaq jumped 796 points to 21,590, while the S&P 500 ended up 184 to 65.28. That's 6,528. And Caterpillar gained just over $41 a share to $708.46. And we're wishing we would have been part of that.
In local news, the Prairie County Sheriff's Department reports the finding of skeletal remains in the area of Hill and Crest Drive between Malone and Fremont. Hill Street is in Limestone Township. Prairie County Coroner Jamie Harwood says tests will be performed to determine identity and maybe even cause of death.
A Peoria County grand jury has indicted the two men who were arrested after robbing and hijacking a car last month. 34-year-old Chris Coleman and 27-year-old Anthony Campbell allegedly robbed a 48-year-old man as he sat in his car, then took the vehicle, fleeing the scene at Ann and Warren Streets on the city's south side. Officers caught up with the vehicle on the far north end of the city where it crashed at Adams and Lawrence, just a block from the Cluggage Bridge. The two have been indicted for aggravated hijacking and possession of a weapon by a felon.
In another police case, 18-year-old Demetrius Cockfield learned yesterday he'll remain behind bars. The teen allegedly was part of a gang of youngsters who robbed and beat a 17-year-old last November in the 1700 block of North Peoria Avenue. Cockfield fled the city and state, but was arrested in Indiana and brought back to Peoria to face charges of armed robbery. That's the news, Roger.
That's the news, and we move to WCVU, and their news brought to you as a service of Morton Community Banks with over 50 branches across Illinois, and hometown banks, FDIC insured, so your deposits are safe and secure. Look for the clock tower, and you know they do indeed have time for you.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Courtney Conroy. The Peoria County Sheriff's Office now has its own equipment to use updated technology for testing evidence in shooting investigations. Sheriff Chris Watkins says the direct access to the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network will speed up their identification process.
It can help within hours. We can get data back. Just depends. Sometimes it's up to a day, but a lot of times within hours we can get that back, especially a homicide.
The system is able to search the network's national database for possible matches to other shootings. An Illinois social service agency providing legal support to downstate immigrants is grappling with the severe reduction of a 60-year program from the Department of Justice. The recognition and accreditation program allows anyone to become a DOJ rep. The Immigration Project's legal director, Danielle DeWinter, says it will be harder for immigrants to get the legal help they need.
It caused quite a bit of panic in my office, and I'm not sure how many clients know the difference between a DOJ rep and a legal aid, like on the face, until they're engaged with us and understand the process.
The Immigration Project has 30 DOJ reps. The Trump administration has announced it will temporarily lift restrictions on ethanol blend E15 sales during the summer. Governor J.B. Pritzker and other Midwest governors are seeking a permanent solution to being able to use the cheaper E15 gas. Capital News Illinois reports federal waivers have temporarily lifted federal restrictions in recent years, but that relief was delayed last year. And Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul is going after what he calls vague funding conditions from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It's the 57th lawsuit against the Trump administration that Raoul's office has been a part of. This time, the USDA is threatening to withhold nearly $6 billion in grant dollars for school lunch and food assistance programs in Illinois.
But what do I say to a struggling single parent whose young children no longer have access to the school lunch program when that may be their only nutritious meal of the day?
The conditions require states to comply with federal policies related to gender identity, transgender student athletes, and immigration. I'm Courtney Conroy.
I want to add parenthetically what the Secretary of State said, that some of the children may only have their only meal may be breakfast. I think that's pure speculation on his part, and I don't think he has any evidence to prove that. But if it is true, and there is a chance it could be true, then we're screwing up in other parts of the state. Now, quit blaming the schools for being responsible for feeding the kids. They do it, and you're well versed in it, I know, Dave, and you know what's going on. You've been in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But ladies and gentlemen, if their only meal is breakfast at school, then the state is failing them in other areas.
Yeah, and a lot of those are federal programs too, I guess. There's breakfast and lunch provided, but there are other opportunities. I know for a fact some of the local agencies, community agencies, furnish afternoon food, some of the programs.
And there are churches,
Yep.
such as my church on Saturday,
Yep.
Efficient Loaves is very active in it, and so forth. And Township Relief, which my father handled for 40 years, knows more about it than the Secretary of State. But unfortunately, Dad's not around. But one thing I heard from teachers, not just one or two, is that in many of the subsidized food programs, kids were throwing the food away.
Yeah, it's not, shall we say, gourmet.
Yeah.
It's not. Sometimes, and again, what counts as a vegetable or fruit may be ketchup, or maybe, it's just not.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of substance to some of the meals.
Yeah.
Yes, it's back in the old days. I can remember, goodness, when it was localized and the cooks were in-house, and they made the wonderful, yeah,
Yeah.
But, the
I remember I usually took my lunch because it was more economically
Sure.
feasible for my parents. But I also know the cafeteria was just a wonderful place to eat at Woodruff High School.
Oh, and Peoria High, oh my gosh. We had the bakery right there, and I could remember my classroom. They'd be baking cakes and cookies, and the smell would waft up, and I'm like, oh, I think I gotta take a break here. And look at the cookies. And of course, well, why did you gain 50 pounds? I don't know. Must be the water.
I don't know. It has something to do with the bakery. Well, let's choose some sports news. Good morning, Tyrus.
Good morning, Roger. Thank you. Let's start with the NCAA tournament. It's the Final Four. Illinois basketball will play number 2 UConn at 5:09 p.m. this Saturday, and number 1 Michigan will play number 1 seed Arizona later Saturday night at 7:49 p.m. Should be another good matchup there. What are we thinking there?
I would like to think Illinois just slight edge, but UConn's awful tough.
Yeah, and they won.
And I think definitely Michigan.
UConn's lucky to be there, to tell you the truth.
And then the championship game is Monday night, and wouldn't it be great to see Michigan and Illinois?
That would be.
Oh my! So
I don't think the referees will allow that.
Michigan's tough, man. So
Michigan is very tough, very deep.
Arizona's pretty good too.
I had them originally in the title game in my bracket.
Arizona?
Michigan.
Michigan, okay.
Yep.
Well, good for you. So you're picking...
I'm rearranging my day to watch Illinois, believe me. Yeah. So at 5:09, now if it's 5:10 or 5:08, I mean, does that mean it's bad?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I have no idea why they come it down to 5:09. So, but
it's television.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
I don't know. It could change too.
So can we put that back on the clock? I mean, if it's 5:10, do they get an extra 60 seconds for an inbounds pass?
Right. You remember how the referees come over? We have checked, and it's a flagrant foul, number 1.
Foul, yeah. We put 0.2 seconds back on the clock. Yeah.
Well, let's put some minutes back for Tyrus.
Yes.
We stole his sports.
No, it's okay.
Those moments.
No, it's all right. I would like Illinois. But,
I would too. Illinois, Michigan, I would love that.
Michigan, Arizona's a throw up. So I'm just,
yeah.
It's not going to be a throw up of a game, but you know.
Well, they're going to throw up when they lose.
Look what happened with Duke and UConn. I mean, my goodness, all it takes is an errant pass.
Yeah. And then we'll move on to the NIT here. Illinois State plays Auburn number 1 tomorrow at 8:30 in the semifinals. In the WNIT, the Illinois State girls team plays also in the semifinals tonight at 7 p.m. versus South Dakota. And then the MLB news, the Cubs got shut out last night 2-0, but can still go for the series win today at 1:20 p.m. Cardinals got shut out by the Mets last night 3-0. Andre Palante had 5 shutout innings. Riley O'Brien with the save in the 9th. And they play the Mets today for the series win. 12:15 p.m. at home. See if they can get it. White Sox lost yesterday 9-2. Go for the series win today at 12:10 p.m. It's an away game for them. Phillies won yesterday 3-2. They play the Nationals as they also could go for the series win today at 12:05 p.m. The Yankees shut out the Mariners 5-0, and they also are tied up and can go for the series win at 3:10 p.m. versus the Mariners. They are away. In the NHL, the Blackhawks are 27-34 and 14 with a 4-3 loss in overtime last night versus the Winnipeg Jets. Anton Frondel got his first goal in his 5th game. Also, it's his 5th point in 5 games. So he's a point-per-game player right now. They move on to play the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow at 8 p.m. in Edmonton. St. Louis Blues were 31-11. Play tonight at 8 p.m. versus the LA Kings in LA. They were trying to make a push. I think it's still possible if they went out, maybe, to sneak in, but
we'll see.
We'll see there. Also, there was a goalie fight last night in the NHL. New York Rangers goalie Igor Shesterkin and New Jersey's goalie Jacob Markstrom.
Life lesson.
A pretty good scrap.
What would they be fighting about? I mean, they're at opposite ends of the rink,
Who has the best pizza?
and
Right.
and they had to. I think it might have been orchestrated, although you said there were some pretty good punches.
Yeah, so
they could They had to meet what in the middle of the rink.
I think they kind of ran into him. One of the teams ran into one of the goalies, and then he shoved one of the players, and then the goalie came over.
Oh, okay.
And
So a
then
life
they
lesson
scrapped
is,
with each
yeah,
other.
don't fight with a guy named Igor or somebody named after a city.
Or somebody's all
right.
decked out in protective gear.
Yes, those were
Yeah,
like,
and then they dropped the gloves, took the masks off, and Igor won the fight.
He
So
did. Oh,
right.
that's too bad.
you don't see it too much.
Where were the
goalies fighting.
referees? Usually they're in there to break up fights. That's why I say I'm a little suspicious.
Yeah, I don't know. Hockey always
You
has a
know,
lot of fights, but they were sleeping
Yeah.
at that moment. To
You know, anyway, go ahead with sports.
It's all right. In the NBA, the Chicago Bulls are
My
29
mouth.
and 46 and play the Pacers, who are 17 and 58. And they play tonight at 7 p.m. And Chicago Bulls also released Jaden Ivey for conduct detriment to the team. So the part of the Pacers tough year that they've had was Halliburton going down in the
that's
NBA
true.
Finals. So they're just kind of having a wash away year, and they could probably
Like the Bulls.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Bulls have a wash away decade.
Yeah,
They've
since the
they've
90s.
become a city of losers.
Oh man, you're telling me.
Yeah. Blackhawks are, they're building for the future.
Yeah.
And the Cubs are going to go nowhere. They've already, they're lucky to be 5-0.
As long as the Brewers are in the Central, that's what's
Who,
going to
which
happen.
one?
Well, you name a Chicago team. That's what we're talking
That's
about.
true.
The Blackhawks, the Bulls, the Cubs.
I would say
The Bears surprise everybody.
that's true.
Yeah. And
Not
they'll
me,
look
though.
good next year.
But I would say the Hawks have been the winningest. I would say
Winningest?
because
What's their record?
well, okay,
They're not
this year
even
no,
500.
but I'm saying out of they won the 3
Yeah,
Stanley Cups in
that
the 2010s.
was Easter of 1804.
That's right. But they got the
Not that we're counting.
Even their AAA hockey team,
yeah,
Chicago. What are they? The Grizzlies or
Rockford.
Wild?
Rockford
Cats.
Ice Hogs,
No. There's a team in Chicago. A hockey
Chicago
team.
Wolves.
Yes, there
But
you go.
that's actually not affiliated for some reason.
Well, it's got the name Chicago.
I know, it's super weird.
They're not affiliated with, and neither are the Rivermen.
Yeah.
The Rivermen have more class than the Chicago Wolves.
Right. I don't know.
Anything else in sports? Because
Hey, Tyrus, I have a
was it,
question. When
yeah.
you're looking at the NIT and you're selecting a winner in the NIT, are you nitpicking?
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know about that
This
one.
show's not censored for anything, is it?
I don't know.
I'm glad we had this talk.
Yeah. Well, we did.
Illinois
Anything else
State.
in sports?
No, that's it.
That's all I got.
All right.
But that's all, folks.
Hey, earlier this morning we touched on the travel news from the Bulls travel agency.
Yes.
Dave is back after 8 days in Italy, wasn't
8 days in Italy, and I'm jet lagging still. What time is it? You know what's the hardest part, and you've traveled over there, getting used to the time. I kept telling my wife, okay, what time is it back home? She said, will you stop? It's 7 hours. Everything was 7 hours ahead. And then I thought, oh, okay, no big deal. This weekend, it's hard. You're thinking it's like 11 o'clock there, but it's really 3 in the afternoon here. It's just it's
groggy a little bit.
a little groggy.
Yeah.
I'm using that excuse for the next year.
Yeah.
Anytime I make a mistake, it's jet lag.
Well, tell us what's the highlight of your trip.
I will tell you what was neat was
that?
being in
Italy.
in Sistine Chapel, Vatican City, last weekend. Just the art, just the sheer, just everything. Watching the Swiss Guard change, it's kind of
Yeah.
neat. That was right. I was right next to 2 guys in Swiss Guard. I didn't realize that.
Where
I thought
was that?
at the Vatican City. The Swiss Guard, they have those colorful uniforms, I didn't I was reading more about them. They're actually, after that attempt on the assassination attempt in the early 80s, the Swiss Guard I thought were mostly ceremonial. No, they're trained in small arms fire. They actually are packing.
They have weapons.
They have. They're not just armored. They're trained in hand-to-hand combat to protect, obviously, any officials in the
yeah,
Vatican.
don't
I was
mess with them.
surprised. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, don't mess with them.
Did you see the Leaning Tower pizza?
We did not. I wanted to. We were close to it. We
didn't see it, huh?
No, we actually went to Florence, and the art was
Why did you
amazing
go
there.
to Florence? What was?
It was just kind of a neat. It's just a beautiful, beautiful city. I mean, that's the David Michelangelo. All of his stuff's there.
The ceiling in
in the Duomo or whatever they call it.
What was
Duomo.
What
Yeah.
was the Sistine Chapel?
Sistine Chapel was really neat. We went in there. It's smaller than I thought. You
You
see all those
we keep
things.
hearing everything is
Yeah.
smaller than
Yeah.
everything.
It's objects in mirror larger than they appear.
This studio couldn't be any smaller. Than
I
it
thought
was,
we were at a gymnasium, but we're not,
Yeah.
evidently. It was neat. The high-speed trains were great. A Tuscan, what was really neat last Tuesday was being in Tuscany and the little plazas and villages in wine country and seeing the vineyards and how they grow the grapes and how they make the wine. And
So you tried some wine.
yeah, you
samples?
know what? It's interesting there. A lot of people have it, but they don't put sulfites in their wine, so it's not that headache causing or whatever. It's actually
really?
well, it's not grape juice either, but it's
stronger.
just tasty.
Would
the
you
food
have red, white?
red, like the red. The other thing is, there's not. Here's the surprising thing: a lot of pasta. This is not a country to go to if you're trying to cut out carbs. But and I don't mean carburetors either. I mean
No, I
carbs.
know, like a lot of
you can
bread.
do
yeah,
that.
a lot of
I
bread.
mean,
Very. I was surprised. Not a lot of meat. Like you look at a menu in a little plaza restaurant, and very few. There's some meat sauce, and they use boar a lot. That's very common over there. Is using
How'd it
boar as
taste?
meat. Good. I had some. I had a meatball.
Could
that
you
was,
tell the difference between boar and beef?
Not really. Everything tastes like chicken, Roger.
Really?
So, no, it was, I tell you, the whole trip, I could go on and on.
How were the people treating Americans?
Really well. I did see one, it was in Florence. I was walking down a little plaza, very narrow cobblestone street, because we tended to stay off the beaten path, so we got to
Good
experience
idea.
the locals.
Good idea.
And I saw one that says, "Go home, Yankee," that sort of thing, tourists, but that was kind of a random thing. It was... But other than that, very, very friendly. Every single store. We did a cooking class last week, and the guy was wonderful. He made our own pasta. We made our own everything from scratch,
Really?
and then we got to eat it for lunch, and it was all right. So,
that's
that's a good
if
time.
my wife's listening, no, I am not cooking anymore. It was a one-time deal. Just an amazing. I highly recommend it.
So the Italian people treated you well?
Very, very
in
well.
the shops and
Very
stores
well.
and so
They
forth,
were
yeah.
very friendly, very
Did they
accommodating.
ask any questions like, what do you think about Donald Trump?
No, it's interesting. While we were there, they had their own voting. I asked a lot, just kind of, Giorgio Meloni is their prime minister, and they had a vote, a big vote last week about changing their constitution. It had to do with the selection of judges and the oversight of judges in the legal
Something
system.
we ought to do here.
Yeah, and it evidently was rejected by the voters, but that was kind of controversial. But the thing is, most voters didn't know what was on the ballot, so it wasn't explained very well. So other than that, it was pretty interesting.
They do like their president, do they not?
I
or
couldn't
did
get a
they?
feel. I talked to a few people, especially in Florence. They tend to maybe not as. I couldn't get a
That's
feel for that.
interesting
Yeah.
because I thought in some of the summits that she was very supportive of Donald Trump.
Oh,
However,
she is. Yeah.
However, Italy has just voted. They don't want the American military to fly over their country or their possessions, and they also have indicated that they're not supportive of the war effort by the United States against Iran. Kind of shocking.
It's interesting. Now, I have a video of it. We were in the plaza last Wednesday in Florence, and there was like a big protest, and I couldn't figure out what it was about. They were singing in Italian, so I had no idea what they were saying. But there was some of their local polizia, as they call it, and I don't know what the protest was about, and I couldn't really get a feel for what it was. I think it might have been over I think LGBTQ rights,
Oh,
think,
really?
because there was a multicolored flag and a couple, but I'm not sure. I don't know what. So I did see that. I did see a lot of people, but for the most part, wonderful, wonderful people. Just a
good.
great, very accommodating. I
What
highly
was your
recommend it.
What was your? You highly recommend going there. What was your favorite meal? What
Oh
did you
my!
have as
Well,
your
I'll tell you what.
memorable meal?
Yeah, number one, the croissants are phenomenal there. Everywhere, there's croissants everywhere. Really liked the pasta. It was we had a restaurant outside of Rome.
Was it creamy or
No,
non-creamy?
no, I had a kind of a red sauce with it.
Okay.
The pasta's really good. It's the food's amazing there.
Yeah.
So
Well, good. Were there 8 days?
yeah, 8 days there, 9
Yeah.
days travel.
You're Catholic, I assume.
I am.
And you had to be, when you visited the Vatican, you
Yep.
had to feel, this is awesome.
It was
This is
incredible.
Did,
I mean,
did it have a spiritual
I remember it
effect on
did. When we first, the early morning, we did a tour. There was this guy named Alberto, and it's funny. I'm next to him, and he says, "We are walking with Alberto." I'm like, "I'm right behind you. I know your name." So, but then he finished at noon, and then my wife and I, we just stayed there the rest of the day and into the evening,
you do
experiencing all.
some-
We actually were able to go down where the previous popes are that buried the crypts. You know.
Oh, really?
That
Is
is
that
neat.
right?
We got to see. We went to another church where there's just recent Pope Francis is buried. He's not buried at the Vatican, which is interesting. He's one of the only popes that is a church offsite. He wanted to be in a very simple place.
So that was at Springdale?
Yes, it was. That's what we found out. It's amazing. I don't know what happened
yeah,
there.
Yeah, You
But,
went all the way to Italy, and they said, "Oh, he's
Yeah.
buried in Springdale." in
Going to
Georgia.
mass in in St. Peter's was really, and
Well,
we
I bet
actually
that was
being out
something.
in St. Peter's Square and standing on the actual plaza where the Pope
Wow,
appears
yeah.
and walking around. It's pretty neat.
Were you able to view where he comes out?
We
and,
stood right there.
Yeah.
They actually had a platform already built for his Easter and Palm Sunday and Easter
Address,
thing, so
yeah.
we were able to stand next to
Gee,
that.
that's terrific.
It was wonderful.
Well, I'm glad you went, and I'm glad you had a good time, and thanks for sharing with us you and your wife's experience there.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's do our final newscast of the morning. As the weather warms, so does the interest in looking at making a change, perhaps, in where you live. This is a good time to start considering your next home. Realtor Kathy Reynolds of Home Smart is available. Would like to assist you in your search, and she's available today at 309-696-2162. With headlines, here's Terry.
President Donald Trump will address the nation tonight at 8 p.m. Peoria time with an update on the war with Iran. Trump is seeking an end to the war, but Iran has rejected the latest peace proposal. So the bombing continues by U.S. and Israeli military forces. It's a big day today in the Supreme Court. Justices will consider whether babies born in the United States to illegal immigrants automatically become U.S. citizens. President Trump last year issued an executive order declaring an end to birthright citizenship. The president is planning to attend the hearing. Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled 8-1 against Colorado's ban on conversion therapy for gay minors. The court found the Colorado law violated the First Amendment free speech rights of a Christian counselor. We'll also discuss the latest effort to halt construction of the ballroom at the White House. Federal Judge Richard Leon, who was appointed by Judge W. Bush, ordered a halt to the work. Leon says the president must seek approval from Congress. Trump's attorneys say they'll appeal the decision. Federal Judge Randy Moss has ruled President Trump does not have the authority to halt funding to the liberal news organizations NPR and PBS. The judge called Trump's executive order based on perceived political viewpoints. One final court case that's been in the news is prosecution of famed golfer Tiger Woods, who's been charged with driving under the influence after he rolled his SUV following a collision with a truck Friday, March 27th. Arresting officer said the 50-year-old Woods failed to properly perform field sobriety exercises. He was found with 2 hydrocodone tablets in his pocket. Tiger has pleaded not guilty and is asking for a trial by jury. It was a big day on Wall Street yesterday as the Dow Jones average soared more than 1,000 points, closing at 46,341. The NASDAQ jumped 796 points to close at 21,590, while the S&P 500 ended up 184 to 6,528. Caterpillar gained just over $41 a share to end at $708.46. And local news, the Peoria County Sheriff's Department reports the finding of skeletal remains in the area of Hill and Crest Drive between Malone and Fremont. Peoria County Coroner Jimmy Harwood says tests will be performed to determine identity and maybe even cause of death. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, thank you, Terry. Let's move on to the weather. And the weather this morning brought to you by Mr. Weather, Kyle Varnold. Kyle provides personal and business insurance for auto, home, life, and health. He works with multiple carriers. We call them companies, insurance companies, to find the right policy at the right price for individuals, families, and businesses, large and small. For more information about what Kyle can do for you, know that he's available right now at 309-682-0519. That's 682-0519. Also available to give you the weather is Dave Poles.
As we start our next month, today is a winter storm warning of 12 feet. Oh, wait a minute. That's not the right
April
forecast.
Fool.
Happy
April
April Fools,
Fool.
everybody. All right. The real forecast, according to everybody here, is showers and thunderstorms today with winds gusting to 26 miles an hour, high of 51 balmy degrees. Tonight, more showers and thunderstorms come our way, but it'll get warmer overnight, temperatures rising to around 53 degrees. Tomorrow, more showers and thunderstorms roll in with those winds increasing to 36 miles an hour as those branches fall down from the sky, as the mercury on the thermometer reaches 74 degrees. Friday, partly sunny, then some showers move in, a high of 77. Saturday, cloudy, rainy, and 60 degrees, and currently we're looking at 38 rainy degrees.
Well, there you have it. The news and the weather and the travel report. Now, remind everybody where you stayed. You didn't stay at an international hotel.
Nope.
Instead,
I
you
recommend
stayed.
if anybody's looking at Italy, we actually researched it's much cheaper, and the accommodations are great. We used Airbnbs. We did an Airbnb in Rome and also one in Florence, and they were kind of in the middle of the towns, but really nice apartments. They're all redone and modern.
Really?
Although everywhere in Italy you seem to see, and I think this is in Europe, in the restrooms, shall we say, two different things, and one is not to be utilized. It's the
Bidet.
bidet. Evidently, that is not something I care to use, but evidently they're everywhere in Europe. But the Airbnbs had them.
They did. Interesting.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
just
I
kinda
know what
exciting.
you're talking
Yeah.
about because
Yeah,
I
I do.
remember when I
Yeah.
went to Paris and in a hotel, and I said, "What is this?"
Yeah. Hey,
I had to ask
one
one of the Parisianers, "What is that thing in my room?"
another interesting thing, in Rome or Florence, I can't remember the train, because the high-speed trains, that's where you get everywhere. They're
That
like
has to be
airports
a-
here.
that
It's
has to be
interesting.
Israel.
You go, it's not restroom, it's toilet. You see toilette.
Toilet.
And you have to use a card to use it. You have to pay to use it. Slide a card in, and they're very nice. Yeah,
Did
it's
they have
interesting.
it in Rome? You were in Rome. Did they have what they do in Paris? Have outside toilets?
I didn't see any.
Well, they did.
Oh,
They're-
really?
They're like
Paris
Kia.
hasn't.
It's like a kiosk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And you
interesting,
go
yeah.
in, and I don't say I'm a little bit on the modest. No, I'm on the big modest side. I had a hard time getting prepared, shall we say,
Yeah.
with people walking by.
Yeah,
You can
That's
see their feet because
Yeah.
they're not enclosed. They're it's-
I did not
and-
experience that.
You didn't.
Thankfully.
But did you see them? Were
No,
they-
I didn't see. You know what? The Coliseum was kind
I
of
wonder
interesting.
if they're even still around.
Yeah, they might have been some there. The Coliseum was really cool. It's amazing how big it is. You don't really get a feel for it until you're there, and how much is still intact. Now they do have, you can walk around platforms and things, but that was really neat. We got to stand where the emperor would have stood, and the Parthenon.
No
was neat. The
kidding.
Parthenon
Yeah, I'll
is
bet, I'll bet.
completely. I mean, the architecture, and it's the one thing that has been kind of untouched. It's still the Colosseum. Evidently, over the years and the centuries, that they would take bronze and gold from it, so it's kind of a mess. But the Parthenon is unspoiled. That's pretty neat.
In all my travels in Europe, and I did a lot of traveling, I wanted to go to Italy. I wanted to go to Rome.
Yeah.
And I didn't make it, and I regret that.
It's pretty neat.
I have a question, and I wouldn't, I don't think I could handle 7.5 to 8 hours on a plane. What'd you do to pass the time?
That was tough. I will tell you, the way there, you think, okay, it's comfortable, you're going to sleep. You can't, because it's noisy,
Well, the
Watch
sound of
movies,
the
I
time.
read, I just sat there, watched.
That's
You know what I
right.
do, and every time I fly, I'm such a nerd. They have those flight things, you can see
Yes,
where you're
right,
at.
yeah.
I try to imagine, okay, where are we at now? Oh, I look out, and I love a window seat. Oh, look, I think that's whatever city it is, And
Really?
it's tough. Flying, and the way back on last week, or Saturday, Friday, I don't remember what day it was, coming back from Rome to Boston was okay. We get to Boston, and it's under construction, and it's hard. We caught a bus. Well, we missed the connecting flight to Chicago. They just put it in the next one. That one, the worst part was coming from Boston to Chicago last Saturday. I'm cramped in a little economy seat, can't move, and then we land in Chicago, and, well, we hate the pilot. The problem is, doing a lot of construction, we have to wait for our turn to disembark. There's no room for us. We were on the tarmac for like an hour and 20 minutes.
Boy, yeah.
Everybody's just going, and you can't stand. Every time somebody get up to stand, they say, we can't move the plane until you sit down. Okay, well, it's not moving
We're
now.
not moving.
And we finally get in there and get our bags, and it was just, okay. We had a spot here where we parked our van. We said, you know what, we should have stayed there, but no, we're going to drive home. We made it to like Dwight. You understand? I'm like, I can't make it anymore. So anyway, it was great. It was planes, trains, and automobiles.
Literally.
Hey.
But,
Yes.
yeah. Any plans to do it again?
Yeah, I would definitely. I'd like to go next to Paris, France, and whatever too. I mean, there's so much over in Europe. It's so neat. So anyway, and evidently there's no budget in the Roger and Friends travel.
No.
We can't do a
No.
remote there. I was hoping maybe for an advance.
No.
but- okay.
That's due to the partial government shutdown.
Yes,
See,
it is.
So we didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to mention about, and Kevin Sullivan brought it up, about the photo of Tiger Woods. And he said, I don't know if anybody who's been arrested who takes a good picture. And I got to thinking, you remember when, are you old enough? I know Tyrus isn't. Did you ever take a driver's test or a license renewal at the driver's center
I know
on
where you're going.
Knoxville? You know where I'm going with that?
Well, the one story, was that the guy that would say, and you're going to have a nice
Yeah,
picture.
yes,
He had his
right.
pants halfway up his stomach, and he goes,
Yeah.
and he'd go, and David Bowles, as they're taking good pictures, you should have a nice picture.
Yeah.
And this is a good picture. Show it to everybody tonight. And I'm like,
Yeah.
he made you feel happy.
And I
Yeah.
did have better pictures over there.
Yeah,
I had,
yeah.
yeah.
You're right.
Yep.
He made. Now I just I have to take at my age a driver's road test every year, and I go over to Roanoke where the people are cordial. They're very pleasant as
Yep.
well in Peoria. Don't let me knock it, but it's
Yep.
a busy place, and it's not as busy as Roanoke is, and it's a little bit of a drive. But the gal who took the picture, she was very personable. And it reminded me of this guy. Do you remember his name? He was well known. Everybody in Peoria who had a driver's license knew him and knew of him because of his personality.
The guy that we're talking about with the,
Yeah.
you're going to have a nice picture. You know what he reminded me of? You remember the old David Letterman show, Larry
Yeah.
Bud Millman?
Yes.
And you should have a hot towel.
That's
He
exactly
reminded me
who
of
he
him.
reminded
He
me,
looked
yes.
a little like him, too.
Yep.
We had our own. Remember, Letterman put him up in the airport, giving hot towels to people coming out.
Yeah.
His man on the street thing. That was funny.
And speaking of pictures and video, I saw one last night of a woman who had been arrested and placed in the back seat of her vehicle. And she was handcuffed, the handcuffs behind her back, and they had cracked the window, large enough where she could stick her head out. They showed on video how she got out of that vehicle with her hands handcuffed behind her back.
Oh, my.
She stuck her head out and gradually squeezed her body and got one leg out and then the other leg. She actually got out of the back seat of this sheriff's deputy's vehicle and ran down the street and over. Anyway, she got away. They didn't have a follow-up to the story as to whether or not they eventually caught her. But I'd never seen anything. It was like Houdini
Yeah.
escaping, and it was all legitimate. Well, I mean, illegitimate, legitimate.
Yeah.
And here she is running down the street with both arms behind her back, handcuffed. It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen in my life. Well, we have, with the time remaining, at 8:45, this day in history, because we haven't done this for a while, and
Love
there's
the
a
history
reason for
questions.
it, because some of the other questions I may or may not ask. But on this date, did you find out that Passover does, or?
Yeah, it
starts
starts
at
after sundown
t-
tonight.
today,
Okay.
and
Through
so
the
tomorrow.
9th of
Yeah.
April.
In 1970, April 1st, President Nixon did something. What was it?
Did he meet with Elvis?
No.
No. That was later, though, wasn't it?
I think so.
Did an April Fool's joke.
Yeah. Declared Earth Day? I don't know.
What he did was had national implications, and whereas much of the good things that he did were erased by the famed Watergate case, but this was something very beneficial, and he is. If you are asked, well, name one good thing that Richard Nixon did. Well, he did a number of things.
Well, Earth
But
Day
this,
started around then, didn't it?
Okay.
Was
Had
that
nothing to do
that's
with it?
nothing to do
I'll
with it?
help you out.
Okay.
He banned something.
DDT?
Cigarettes,
Yeah.
cigarette advertising.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
that is
cigarette
correct.
advertising.
He
Well,
banned-
Marlboro Man.
He
There you
signed
go.
legislation
Oh.
banning cigarette ads on TV
Oh.
and radio. And he was a smoker. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
What did he smoke?
I mean, what brand?
No.
Pipe? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, I thought
He
I
was-
saw a picture
he
of
was
him
a
doing
pipe
that.
smoker.
Yeah.
And he indulged in as many as 8 bowls of not soup, but
Of
pipe.
tobacco, I did it.
Yeah.
A lot of Borkum Riff, right?
And he supported the legislation due to the insistence of public health advocates. Alarming health studies emerged as early as 1939 that linked cigarette smoking to higher incidences of cancer and heart disease. And by the end of the 1950s, all states had laws prohibiting the sale of cigarettes to minors. And so the rest of the news. All right, it's time for our musical quiz, and let's see if you can identify the song and the artist. On what do we have? About a little over 10 minutes. Let's start with this song. Tell me the name of the song.
Listen to me, baby, you gotta understand. You're old enough to know the makings of a man. Listen to me, baby, it's hard to settle down. Am I asking too much for you to stick around? Every boy wants a girl he can trust to the very end. Baby, that's you. Won't you wait? But till then, when I see lips begging to be kissed, I can't stop. I can't stop myself. Life is
I think you heard the title of the song, which is
Lightning Strikes Again.
by
Four Seasons.
No.
Frankie Valli.
No. His first name is the name of a famous Knoxville summertime drive-in. At Knoxville and Lake.
Oh, Lou.
Yes.
Lou Drive-In.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Lou Christie.
Lou Christie is correct.
And she's reading my mind. I can't
Lou Christie and Lightning Strikes. All right, here's song number 2. See how well you do this one.
That's different.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Life goes on day after day.
Ferry Across the Mersey.
What was that? Ferry Across the
Ferry
Mersey?
Across the Mersey.
Yes, by?
The Bee Gees?
No.
So ferry cross the Mersey, 'cause this land's the place I love.
The group, I have one of those in my chest.
Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Yes. I don't have Jerry on my chest.
You don't have
but
Jerry, that's good,
I was
okay.
gonna say t-shirts like
I do
Justin
have a
Troy's, but
pacemaker.
that's not-
All right.
My Diane.
Diane.
Diane is the title. Who's it by?
When I see you smile, smile for me. My Diane, and though everything's dark, oh, why I can see.
Dion in the Belmonts?
No. Think weddings.
The road leading home, oh, pray for me.
The Groomsmen?
What are the men before they get married?
Bachelor.
Yes.
The Bachelor.
The Bachelors.
Smile for me, my Diane.
As the Bachelors and my Diane and Diane. All right, I think you'll get this one very quickly. Maybe not. One of my favorite songs from the 70s.
Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter.
Herman's Hermits.
Hermit's Hermits, that was the...
And the title,
Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter.
You've Got a Lovely Daughter.
I know that song.
But it's sad, she doesn't love me now. She's made it clear enough, it ain't no good to hide. She wants to return the things I bought her. Tell her she can keep them just the same.
Let's see what else. Yeah. Well, we got a couple more before we wrap things up
Are
very
these all from the
quick.
60s?
Let's try. I'm going to jump over. Let's see.
I was only 7.
Let's do this one.
Hang on, Sloopy.
Hang on, Snoopy.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Beach Boys? The Beach Boys?
No. Think of the former Peoria County Sheriff.
Yeah, how many sheriffs ago? Brian Asbell. Al Meisner.
What was the famous feud many years ago? The Hatfields.
McCoys. Oh, the McCoys.
Yes,
The McCoys.
very good. I know you'll get this one too. Yeah, you'll get this one very quickly.
Oh, Under the Boardwalk.
No.
Down in the boondocks.
Down in the boondocks.
Down in the boondocks.
Put me down, 'cause that's the town I was born in. And I love her, and she loves me, but I don't fit her society. Lord have mercy on a boy from down in the boondocks. Every night I watch the light from the house up on the hill. I love a little girl that lives up there. I guess I always will.
Singing.
But I don't dare knock on her door.
Has
Daddy is
3 names.
so
John
I
Paul.
Billy Joe Royal.
Billy Joe.
to see her whenever I can. Down in the boondocks. Down in the
That was was a big song, wasn't it? Bill down in the boondocks. All right. Here's my very best, my most favorite song of the 1970s, ladies and gentlemen. What's the title of the song, and who's it by?
I see that worried look upon your face. You've got your troubles, I've got mine.
You've got your trouble.
Well, you got your troubles
She's
by.
found somebody else to take your place. You've got your troubles, I've got mine. I too have
In
lost
fact,
my
one of the singers in this group, Royce knew, and we interviewed him on the phone. And he's really a nice guy. I don't even know if he's still alive, but
now just like you I sit and wonder why. You've got your troubles, I've got mine. You need some sympathy, well so do I. You've got your troubles, I've got mine. She used to love me, that I know.
what would you call all the things that you accumulate and your money, your house, your car, you put them all together and that's your what?
Possession.
Okay.
Assets.
Okay. Starts with the letter F. People used to have, you would go to them to learn
Finances.
Fortune teller?
Finances.
There you go.
You have your fortune?
The fortune.
Fortune teller. Okay.
The fortune. All right, we're going to wrap things up, I believe, for the final song of You Bet Your Life. Let's see if you can get another. This is a great song. And I know you'll get this one. I shout it out. Yeah. Your answer is?
Cherish by the Association.
Yes, you got it. Very good.
You don't know how many times I wish that I had told you. You don't know how many times I wish that I could hold you. You don't know how many times I wish that I could mold you into someone who would cherish me as much as I cherish you.
You know what? That's a great song, but we got one more. I want you to
There's more.
get.
It's
Yes,
bonus
one
round.
more.
One more. Here we go.
Winchester Cathedral.
Yeah, you got it. By. This is the hard part. By who?
Bill Skarsgård. I'm just kidding.
The New Something Band. What we
New
call?
Vaudeville.
You got it, ladies and gentlemen. The panel scores the New Vaudeville Band. Hey, have a great day, everybody. Stay dry. Remember, God loves you, and so do we. And so does the New Vaudeville Band. And Dave, thanks. After being in the Vatican, I'm sure you're going to visit now the Winchester Cathedral.
Or the Windbreaker.
Have a great day, everybody.
The Windbreaker
Winchester
Cathedral.
Cathedral, you're bringing me down. You stood and you watched as my baby left home. You could have done something, but you didn't try.